And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in the Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Happy Monday. What's shaking? Good to be with you. On a day where there's...
What's shaking?
Yeah, what's shaking?
You've been working on your street a little bit?
Yeah, that's...
Bringing in...
That's how...
Or is that NASCAR lingo?
That's how us jive kids do it, Lonzo. That's how us jive turkeys get down.
It's like, cool, daddy-o.
Now, if you're a turkey, that's bad, but if you're a jive turkey, that's good, right? Or is jive turkey like when you say something's bad, but that means it's good?
So, yeah, jive turkey's not good.
Jive turkey's not good.
You know, jive turkey means that not only are you a turkey, but you're talking stuff that you don't know what you're talking about.
So jive is good. Jive turkey is the emphasis is on the turkey, not the jive.
For a complete description of what that is, listen to Jive Talking by the Bee Gees.
You will not often get recommendations to listen to the Bee Gees on the show, but here we are. How are y'all doing? What a weekend.
We're staying alive.
So last night, yesterday afternoon, I guess, I got asked though to do the, I'm working for
35 different people.
Yeah, correct.
He's got a lot of jobs.
So I'm the in-arena host for the Swamp Rabbits, right? Like during the breaks and everything, they put me up on the screen to get people hype, whatever. But yesterday, the PA announcer, Cody, great guy. Cody's got, just the voice of an icon as the PA. She's got this deep voice. It's so good. But he got called out yesterday. He had to work his other job. So about an hour before the game, they're like, Rob, do you mind moving from host to PA announcer? I'm like, yeah, no worries. Let's go. I try to bring the juice to the table. So for 3.5 hours yesterday, it was rabbit, but just as energetic as I could get. This container of Hall's cough drops is not making it through the show today. It's not.
I've got some extra. I don't know. I mean, some of them have been in there for a while, but I don't think cough drops go bad. So if you're willing to give it a shot,
I should have enough to get through. I just want y'all to know that if I sound like crap today, that's why. But worth it because the bits are 1-0-1 on the year, 1 win, 1 tie, and Rob Brown is undefeated as a PA announcer this year. So, we got that going for us, which is nice. Plenty to talk about on the show today. Not only do we have some local sports, because this Saturday, your Greenville Triumph are playing in the USL League One semifinals. Win that one, and it is on to the biggest dance. Where that game will take place and when, we do not know yet. We have got, as we mentioned, your Greenville Swamp Rabbits, the Clemson Tigers against the Cuse on Saturday. 4 turnovers in that game. 4 turnovers. They let Syracuse jump out to a big lead, but then the Tigres gutted out a win. And the interesting part, obviously, was the benching of DJ Uyunglele in order to turn to Cade Klubnik.
Rob, I know we're going to get more in depth, but you or I could have done what Cade did in the second.
Through 4 passes.
Yeah, I could hand the ball off really good.
Yeah.
I'll even fake it and make it look like I'm going to throw the ball. I can also throw an interception. I can do that.
4 passes in that game for Cade Klubnik.
Oh my God, Cade's in the game. Woo!
Clip that. It's going in the GOAT folder. Cade goes in 4 passes. Clemson comes back, wins the game on the legs of Will Shipley, who had 179, top of my head, and a couple of touchdowns for it.
And a fumble.
DJ had 2 picks and a fumble, including one that was brought back 98-ish yards for a TD. And then it kind of felt like, Dabo's guys are in trouble, but they gutted that one out. Now, the interesting question mark about that game and the benching of one DJ Uyunglele is twofold. Number one, after the game was over, Of course, the very first question asked to Dabo Swinney was, is Cade the guy moving forward? Is Cade the guy moving forward? We've already got a texter on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307 that says, good morning, Rob. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Maybe I wasn't wrong about DJ. Maybe he does need to sit and let Texas Terror run this squad. Hashtag still bench DJ. Here's where this gets interesting.
And for more in-depth on this, you can hear 3 hours of this later on today. Somewhere.
We got a lot to talk about, but I am going to talk about it here. To the chagrin of one great one. DJ gets benched. Cade comes in, 4 tosses, handoff machine, couple of runs on his own. And then Dabo gets asked as the game goes final, is this your guy? Are you sticking with DJ? Before he even really got too deep into the question, Dabo was like, before anybody asked, quote, you can write this down now. Get it out of the way. DJ's our guy. He's our leader. He's our starting quarterback. He's our guy. He's still going to start next week. The second part of this conversation that gets very interesting is the story that began to circulate about DJ Uiagalelei after the game was over. The story went that either at the end of last week's game or early in this game, I've got people saying both. DJ's throwing hand got stepped on. And DJ had a gash taken out of his throwing hand by a spike, and he did not have full feeling in the hand, decided to go anyway. And initially, I was, as I think a lot of people were, ready to dismiss that as a bit of a conspiracy theory.
He definitely had a grip problem. I watched the game this morning while I was doing cardio, and he had a grip problem big time.
That's fact. I was ready to dismiss that as a bit of a conspiracy. I didn't really take it all that seriously. And then in the post game, they showed DJ outside of the locker room talking to folks. And at one point, he goes to like scratch his face. Well, with his throwing hand, with his right hand, he goes to scratch his face. And there's a hole in this dude's hand. I mean, it's a gash. Like, it is a gash down the middle of his hand. So perhaps it wasn't so much a conspiracy theory. Perhaps the problem was DJ had an injury. He tried to play through it because let's be honest with each other. The throws that DJ was making in that game, overthrows, underthrows, bad throws into coverage, etc., they were, without question, the worst throws that DJ Uiagalelei has made dating back to the Georgia Tech game to open the year. It was the worst he's looked as a passer all year entirely, to the point that after I saw him and the gash in the hand in the postgame presser, my immediate reaction was, yeah, I think that dude was hurt. I genuinely think that his hand was jacked up, and he, being a dude, tried to gut it out and play through it, and he just didn't have the hand strength to throw the football the way he needed to. That being said, that is why Dabo came out, and before he even got asked a question during the interview, was like, he's our guy, he's our leader, he's our starter, he's not going anywhere. DJ couldn't hang on to the ball, couldn't grip the ball, couldn't get the right touch. They went to Cade. They did not turn Cade open to throw the ball. Let's not forget.
Oh, they shouldn't have, because he did not look good when he tried to throw the ball. And you also need to give Syracuse some credit, because their defense,
played the hell out of that
defense played really well, and they were covering all of Clemson's receivers tight. DJ had nowhere to throw, neither did Cade.
Yeah, listen, Syracuse deserves a ton of credit. They played outstanding football until the second half, when their offense just completely fell apart. And somebody,
you know what, you're saying that, but I think it's more of Clemson's defense showed up to play in the second half, and they didn't in the first.
I think that's part of it. I think that in the first half, by the way, when Schrader took off with the ball in the first half, it was maddeningly frustrating for Clemson. I have no doubt. That kid ran the hell out of the football in the first half. Then they got to the second half of the game, and they were dialed in on that dude, right? They basically said, in fact, I tweeted it out early in the second half. I'm like, hey, look, this Schrader kid is the offense, right? Like, he is the offense. Even when they have success on the run, they have success on the run because he's such a threat to keep it himself and take off the other direction and beat you to the line that you got to keep a defender committed to him, which takes a defender out of the box when the running back gets the ball. And when he goes to throw, you can't really bring extra pressure because if he finds any gap at all in your blitz, he's going to make a push at you. Right? Second half, Clemson made some outstanding adjustments. They were able to stop that. They were able to keep him from taking off for the most part. And once the legs of Schrader became less of a mitigating factor, then all of a sudden Clemson's chipping away. And all of a sudden they're chipping away and got the lead. And keep in mind, even with 4 turnovers, when Clemson was in, I'm going to air quote this, panic mode, they were down 11, right? Like let's be real, though. At a point in that game, it really does feel like it should have been like 35-7 Syracuse. But they just couldn't finish. Clemson's defense better get some steak dinners from the offense out of that. That game against a Georgia or an Ohio State, that game would have gotten way out of hand.
And if you're a Clemson player, you got to be disappointed in that crowd. I mean, they disappeared a ton in that game. So if you're a Clemson fan, you should take a look in the mirror and go, I should have been louder, because you should have. You know, just because they're down doesn't mean you need to be quiet, because we've seen all through Saturday and Sunday what a loud crowd can do to the opposing offense, and they just disappeared a lot.
Yeah, but also,
and they could have been the crowd mics for the TV broadcast. It could have been. I don't think so, though.
I do love that they made a point. The announcers were making a point, and maybe it was justified, maybe it wasn't. I was not at the game. BetQL hired me to do some work during that game, or else I would have been in Clemson, but I got hired by BetQL to do some work, so I stayed around for that. But the guys calling the game made it a point a number of times. They're like, oh, Death Valley's giving all she got. Kirk in the college game day section, when they were breaking that down, was like, it's kind of disappointing this game is during the daytime because, and these are his words, not mine, Death Valley is just not as intimidating in the daytime as it is after dark. That being said, I get where you're coming from. Man, it's hard to keep the wind in the sails on 4 turnovers, dude. It's hard to keep with the gusto when your offense gives the ball away every time they get a shot at it.
So what you're saying is they only care when their team is leading.
No, I'm saying it's hard to be excited with 4 turnovers on the
You don't have
sheet.
to be angry. Just be loud. That's all you got to do. You got to be loud. You can be angry. When that other team's offense is on the field and you've got a sellout crowd, you have to be a factor. You got to cause some false starts. You got to cause some problems for that opposing quarterback to hear. And once they got ahead, it was kind of quiet.
Texter says, Rob, that's why Ngata got a personal foul. Guy stomped on DJ's hand, so Ngata threw the guy on the ground. I did see that, and I was curious about that, right? Because that's not really been the MO of Ngata. That's not really been the MO of this team, right? This team has been relatively well-disciplined, and that personal foul comes out of nowhere.
Come on. I mean, they have a reputation. They've had a reputation for years of doing that kind of stuff. They just got caught. That's what, they're known for doing that kind of stuff. Look up oil check, but be careful.
I don't need to look it up.
You know what the oil check is? Yeah, that was a couple years ago. That stuff don't go away. That's taught.
I played football in the late 90s. I'm very well aware. Regardless, I wonder what that was for. And if that was the moment, then frankly, I understand it. But, you know, if it was DJ's throwing hand being injured that created this problem for him, that resulted in the 2 picks and probably a couple of other throws that could have, should have, would have been picked by the Orange. That's not good. But I would assume if you're a Clemson fan, knowing that he's banged up, knowing that his hand was injured, and now he's got some time to let it be, I assume that's got to put a little bit of optimism in you, considering you don't play again until the 5th when you're at Notre Dame.
There's no optimism, because now those people, the vocal people, the people that you see online, including some people that you and I both know, getting all excited when Cade got in there, and those people, they don't care his hand was hurt. They don't care anything. They just want Cade in there. And they want DJ out. They won't look at the fact that when Cade was in there, basically all he did was hand the ball off. He threw that interception for that 2-point conversion. He got sacked. He didn't really look that good in there, but they don't care because they look at it through orange-tinted glasses. But beyond that, I think they may have orange fused on their eyeballs, and they cannot see the fact that DJ is a better quarterback. At least for now, he is.
Let me be abundantly clear for you here. DJ Uiagalelei is going to remain your starter and should, okay? He is going to remain your starter and he should. It was nice. I mean, they made, I don't know how many times the guys calling the game made the point to check in and go, hey, look, Dabo's not making a switch. This is not long-term. This is Dabo trying to find a spark for the offense, right? DJ just doesn't have it. It just doesn't have it today. Dabo needs a spark. Dabo needs something to get this offense to turn the corner. And then we found out about the jacked up hand. And again, I'm wondering how many of you believe that. I do. Like I said, and by the way, I don't know if he did it intentionally, but if he did, it was very smart, right? When they had DJ in street clothes after the game and they're talking to him, and he goes up to scratch the beard with the throwing hand, with the gashed hand unbandaged, like that. I don't know if he did that intentionally, but it was a very, very smart move, because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, we are going to have some controversy on the show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, but the Cade people didn't see it because they just they only made eye contact. They were refused to see. I've seen this a couple times, and I think it's because in the past when the fans have yelled, this guy, Deshaun needs to be in there, Trevor needs to be in there, and then they got in there like, see, but I don't think that's the case this time. They're too busy stuck in the past thinking that, and I believe he's smart enough to do that, to put his hand up there to show people, hey, and he didn't whine and cry about it. He went out there and tried to play, so good on him.
I am interested to see how it's talked about out of the staff this week, right? Out of the staff this week. But here is what I will say about the hand injury, and then we'll take a break and we'll move on. Obviously, Clemson fans, I want to know what you have to say. It's a big win. It's a big win. Let's not pretend that win wasn't over a 6-0 undefeated top 15 team, right? I think, and we've kind of made jokes about this all week, Lonzo, about how, oh, good gosh, Syracuse is ranked, right? I think there's a lot of people that ignore what Syracuse has done because the Syracuse brand ain't exactly blue blood. So people want to diminish that win. It's a good win. And when you can overcome 4 turnovers and win, that's big. But I will tell you the one problem I have with this game. And this I can't really blame on DJ's hand. They have got to quit with that read option. They have got to quit. The Clemson Tiger offense was terrible with the read option. The fumble return for a TD was off the read option. How many thirds and seconds inside the red zone did they run that read option? And it went crap.
By the way, I thought of this morning while I was watching. I was thinking, Clemson has become a Big Ten team, and they need to embrace it. They're a running team. They're not a throwing team. They've got Shipley back there. They've got a good stable of running backs, even if it's short dink and dunks to get your guys in space. but they're a running team. They're not a passing team. And neither one of those quarterbacks are going to get you where you used to be.
Run the goddamn football! You know what? I just need to get that Sherman clip and have it ready.
You should.
I just need to grab that Richard Sherman.
I think it's a little obvious in the second half, for sure, because that's all Cade did was hand the ball off because and that's how they got back in the game. They played good defense and they ran the ball.
Hand the ball. But again, the read option was terrible. And all that, it's very, listen.
Do you think that it's Clemson has come down to the level of the ACC or the ACC is coming up? Because none of these games have been what they were a couple years ago. You can blame it on the quarterback, you can, but the quarterback ain't playing defense. Clemson's given up a bunch of points every week.
I think it's both, right? I think Clemson has definitely regressed, and I think anybody who watches them sees that. But I do think the ACC is a little bit better, not good, but a little bit better than they've been. I think it's a regression from the Tigers and a progression for everybody else. The Syracuse defense was flying around. They created some turnovers. They gave themselves a shot. That read option has either got to go or it better be all they work on in practice this week, right? The read option, the way that Clemson runs it, is designed where the quarterback puts the ball into the gut of the running back, but he hangs on to it. He rides the ball with the running back until the defensive end has to make a decision, and they see what gap gets filled by whom, right? So DJ is going to put the ball in the gut. He's going to maintain a two-handed grip on it. He's going to look at the defensive end. If the defensive end is diving to the running back, right, then DJ is going to pull the ball, let the DN hit the running back, and get around him. If the defensive end does not dive to the running back and instead plays contain, right? Instead of coming down to the running back, he sets up with his face up the field to make sure the quarterback doesn't cross his body. Then in that case, DJ's going to hand it to the running back. The running back's going to run at the end and cut up inside. It's a very simple concept, but for whatever reason, it just takes too long to develop. It just takes too long to develop, and it got them killed. If that read option was better, they don't have the fumble return for a touchdown, and that game is never in doubt.
Well, and the fact that they're playing a good defense with good DBs that were sticking everybody close. So it's hard to read when you know you're not going to have anybody open. And Cade is a better runner. I mean, you could see that. He's definitely a better runner. So you had him in there almost to play the option in the second half.
All right, couple of texts real quick before we take a break. Is it text or text? It's texts.
Texas is a state that way.
Couple of don't mess with the Texas line.
Wait, should I do this?
Horns down. Fan, personally, that was a very good game. I don't want to see my team dominate the whole time. Seeing them come from behind in the fourth quarter gave me confidence in my team, even though DJ had his hands screwed up. The whole team buckled down and came out with a win. Oh, no, I'd rather see my team dominate whistle to whistle, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they
showed guts to finish.
They did what Clemson does. They're a winning team. They're used to winning. They came back and they won the game.
Fan, DJ is absolutely our starting quarterback. Cade did his job, and DJ supported him. Hashtag class act. I did love that out of DJ.
Yeah, that was awesome. But you texters are like a minority, at least if you go look online during the game. It was.
The internet was a cesspool, but my fans, the fans of this show, they know what's up. DJ's still the guy. Let's take a break. When we come back, what a weekend of football for the Palmetto State, y'all. The Tigers win. The Gamecocks are ranked, by the way. And the Panthers beat Tom Brady.
I'm sure that really upsets you. Can't wait to talk about that.
I'm not on the Views from Mid-Street podcast today. It's just going to be 45 minutes of Alonzo talking about Tom Brady losing to the Panthers.
Oh, I'm down for that. Yeah, I could go more than 45.
I'll just let you record the whole show.
I'd go 2 hours today.
I'll just sit here in case you need me to give you a second. Let's talk about Palmetto State football. We continue next. I'm Rob. He's Alonzo. It's the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate, y'all.
My world.
All right, guys. Got to do a quick live read. Stay right there. Be right back.
Today, we'll expect to see plenty of sunshine across the area and temperatures staying into the mid-70s. Later on tonight, clear skies as well as very low temperatures.
I'm pretty excited because all my football teams won over the weekend. And yes, I have 4 of them. You know what? Because I define my own fandom, not some guy on the radio. So Chiefs won, the Panthers won, the Gamecocks won, and the Buckeyes won. It was a good weekend. Really was. And while admittedly I was rooting for Clemson to lose, I wasn't surprised that they came back and won. What are you doing? Okay. It's like, the heck is that? You might need an extension cord or you're not going to be able to. I don't know what he's got. It's awesome though. Just because it's. Oh, you got one of those? They don't always show up on camera, by the way. You could, they do show up a little.
Do they?
Yeah. You could lower the blinds maybe if you wanted to. So I did that for our first Christmas special. And it didn't show up really well because we were just using, I think, phones or something. It's a little too Christmassy though. It does. You know what it does? Even though you can't see the lights as much, the flashing thing in the background. Look at the TV behind you. Look at your panel. When it flashes, it almost gives off the you're at a real stadium like Williams-Brice when the LEDs are going off. I'm sorry. Most stadiums are real. A more modern stadium. There we go. A newer stadium. More happening stadium. A loud stadium.
It's sound activated.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've got one of those. Oh, don't do the clapper thing. No. You haven't reached that age yet. I've got that ball that looks like a crystal ball that the lightning goes inside of it, and you can change the setting where it will react to the music. That's pretty cool.
This would be better if we.
I was gonna say it's gone.
If we did a night show.
It's red. Oh, that's cool.
Bought this for the band because it was like $9 on Amazon. And then I'm like, you got to screw it into something to get it hanging from the ceiling. And I'm like, I don't want to install it in every bar we play in. So it's just been sitting in my.
You should wear it on your head.
Let's see.
Put it on the drum kit.
All right, moving on. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Robin Lonzo with you. Trey popped into the Facebook chat. He said the Panthers won and the 49ers lost. Maybe the problem was Christian McCaffrey. Run CMC gone, and no big deal. The Cats beat the Buccaneers. You know, it's such a weird spot to be a Panther fan right now.
I'm trying to smile without showing teeth.
Lonzo's very happy with the outcome of that particular sporting contest.
For a couple of reasons, but yeah.
It's kind of interesting to be a fan of Carolina right now, or let me rephrase that. Probably not. It's probably exhilarating to be a fan, to see the changes happening and then see your team come out and beat the, at the time, NFC South leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sure it's exciting to be a Cats fan and be 2-0 in the division right now, right? You knocked off the worst team in the NFC South in New Orleans. You've now knocked off the best team in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There is something very exciting about that, and there should be. But allow me to bring some levity into the situation, or as Lonzo would say, rain on the parade.
Yes, what Rob would call reality.
Let me bring some reality into the situation.
How dare you win that game? How dare you? We're not going to get the first round pick now. What's wrong with you? You're supposed to lose.
Couple of things. Number one,
Panthers going to win the South.
they genuinely could.
And all the people, including some people right here on the station, are going to be really upset when the Panthers win the South.
I was on the social media yesterday evening, right? I get done with the Swamp Bunnies game. I head to the house. I'm watching Lonzo's Chiefs absolutely destroy the 49ers. Patrick Mahomes doing Patrick Mahomes things.
McCaffrey looked good, by the way, and the crowd booed when they took him out.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Yeah. You guys know he showed up on Friday, right? He's been a member of your team for a day and a half.
They did point out, though, he went to Stanford. You got to be pretty smart to go to Stanford.
So I'm watching that game, and I flip on to the social media. I start getting the show ready for today. And as I do so, I come to the realization that Panthers fans, scratch that, NFL fans as a whole, Tampa loses to Carolina, and the discussion about that game is what?
What's wrong with Tom Brady?
Thank you very much, Lonzo. Thank you very much. What's wrong with Tampa? What's wrong with the Buccaneers? And a lot of Panthers fans got offended by that, right? Like, why can't it be, instead of what's wrong with Tampa, why can't it be what's right with Carolina? But the correct take is what's wrong with Tampa. That is the correct take. They should be better than this.
Well, but they had a ton of injuries on defense. I mean, so there's that. I know Tom Brady plays on offense, kind of. He kind of played yesterday. I enjoyed when he was looking at the sky. It was just awesome. He almost makes me feel sorry for him, but not. I'm not there yet.
As Aaron Rodgers said, "What the bleep are we doing?" Tom Brady's Buccaneers looked bad, and the correct take is what's wrong with Tampa.
No, how good did the Carolina Panthers defense look? Because someone didn't tell them they're supposed to be tanking. Someone didn't tell the defense, hey guys, don't try as hard. We want the number 1 draft pick.
Here's my question
Don't try nearly as hard.
Last Friday, as you and I prepared to do the Views from Mint Street podcast, available where major podcasts are found. If you are a fan of the Panthers, it is a must get. Go to Google Play, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or free on the Odyssey app. Subscribe and download the Views from Mint Street podcast.
Even if you're not a fan of the Panthers, but you like me or Rob or both of us together, that is a possibility, I think. Yeah, just go, hit listen.
I love a cat going, I would download it, but I like Lonzo. That Rob guy sucks, though.
Yeah, so do it you'll help me out because it's okay, because we disagree on the podcast, so you'll just be on my side.
That is correct. We disagree on the podcast more than we do on the show. Anyway, grab that podcast. So the Carolina Panthers general manager Scott Fitterer on Friday did a presser. And while Lonzo and I were getting ready for the show, Lonzo is watching and listening to the presser. And Lonzo straight up turns into the 2 old, angry, crotchety Muppets, Statler and Waldorf, who sit up in the balcony and just scream insults at the great Gonzo. Lonzo is at his computer just ripping Scott Fitterer to shreds when he's like, yeah, I know we traded McCaffrey, but this is not an indication that we're trying to tank. And Lonzo's like, yeah, whatever, fathead, you loser.
I don't believe I called any names. I don't have to.
Lonzo repeatedly said that he has a head the size of and sounds as qualified to run a team as Chewbacca.
All right. I forgot about
that.
Thank
you very much.
I did do, because his head covered most of it. And all you can see is Baca behind his head. So, I mean, and all right. I take it back. Everything Rob said, I guess
yes. I did. Then they come out 2 days after Fitz says, we are not tanking. We are not here to tank. We are here to win. We want to win. We're going to bust it up to win. The day after Fitterer says that, and Lonzo goes bananas on him like the angriest Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode you've ever watched. the Cats come out and beat the Buccaneers and probably cost themselves the number 1 overall draft pick, right?
And as I tweeted today, the Panthers will trade away half their defense.
No, they won't.
Because they won.
Why you keep saying that?
Because they won. Oh my God. We
weren't
supposed to win.
Who's the pessimist now?
No. We weren't supposed to win.
Who's the pessimist now?
We never thought that there's a possibility that maybe Tom Brady stinks and their defense is going to be injured and our offense might actually score some points. Who thought that would happen?
So the Panthers run the hell out of the football. PJ Walker has his bet. PJ Walker had such a game.
By the way, I want to point out, I told you that very first play. What did they do the very first play? Remember we talked about on Views from Main Street that they'd be crowding that box. And I said it would be funny if they came out in the very first play, threw a bomb. Unfortunately, it was dropped, but it was right there. And it should have been caught.
Yeah. PJ Walker has the game of his life.
He's not giving me any credit, but I did.
That's exactly what he said.
Okay.
On the Views from Main Street podcast.
You
Go
can
listen
find
to
out.
last Friday's game.
Yeah.
The quarterback, PJ Walker, has the game of his life to the point that Steve Wilkes comes out yesterday in the presser and goes, I'm going to be honest with you. We get Sam and Baker both back this week, and it's going to be hard not to start PJ Walker. And I got news for Steve Wilkes. That's the right decision. I'm not going to argue that Steve Wilkes is going to be Danny Dimes or Joey B, but the dude just had the game of his life. He outperformed any game that Baker Mayfield had during his tenure, and we've all seen Sam Darnold. I'm not saying that PJ Walker is going to take you to the promised land. I'm saying the Cat earned himself another shot this week because his one game against Tampa was better than anything we've seen out of Baker Mayfield so far this year. And I'm a Baker guy. I still believe Baker can get it back, but now I need Baker to sit on the sideline with his helmet on, with his wristband on, watching PJ play and recognizing if you want this to be a career revitalization project, you got to go beat that guy now. You got to take his job.
All right, I'm not going to say I want to bet on this because it never works out for me, but maybe we should put this up on the poll. Who's going to be the starter this week? Because if Sam and Baker are both available, which it looks like they are, one of those guys will be the starter. It's not going to be PJ Walker. I know he just won the game, but those guys beat him out. He was fourth string. Why was he fourth string? And you could say, well, it was a different head coach. He was fourth string because everyone in front of him was better than him, including Matt Corral.
I don't disagree because that is factually correct.
Can't argue with the science, Rob.
I don't. However, I'm also going to say that 16 of 22 for $177, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions is better than anything Baker Mayfield has done since he's been a Carolina Panther. It is better than anything Sam Darnold did since week, 2, 3 of last season.
So if Sam or Baker are in there, do the Panthers lose the game?
I don't know.
No, they don't, because that's how bad Tampa Bay's defense was and how good the Panthers offense was.
Dante Foreman, 15 totes, 118. Chuba Hubbard, 9 carries for 63 and a touch. How about both of those cats averaging 7 or better yards per carry? 7 or better. Foreman had a 60-yard run. Chuba had a 17-yard run. DJ had 7. Would you look at that? You throw DJ more of the football, good things happen. 7 snags, 69 nice yards, and a touchdown for DJ as well.
By the way, something to learn from this is Foreman doesn't go down easy. It takes some guys.
All year, give Dante the ball.
Yeah, if you get him
all year
in space, I'm not saying he's like John Riggins or that was a flash of something right there. That was awesome. He's not like Mike Allstat he is a little bit. So I'm just thinking the bigger backs that it takes 3 or 4 guys to take down. He runs hard and he runs like he wants to hurt you. He can't be the every down back, but you throw him in as a change of pace and people are going to get hurt.
Dante Foreman should have been all year your red zone back, your goal line back, your 3rd and short back.
Yeah, every time you should have gone for it on 3rd and short or 4th and short. By the way, yesterday, 4th and 1. Nope, let's punt. 4th and 1. Nope, let's point. Let's punt. Kick a field goal? Nah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to punt. So on my, I take notes when I'm watching the game. There's a big old tank with exclamation marks at that point. And then something changed and they decided, hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and win this game.
I will say this. You can be mad about the punt, but their defense did not give up a touchdown to Tom Brady. It was the right play.
So we were just talking about Foreman.
It was a risk play, but it was the right play.
We were talking about Foreman. You give him the ball in both those 4th and 1 situations, I think your chances are pretty good he picks it up.
I think your chances are good, but they're not 100%. And you give Brady a short field to operate on for multiple possessions.
Oh, come on. Yesterday, it didn't matter.
Brady finished 32 of 49 for 290. No touchdowns, no picks. A rating of 81 next to PJ Walker, the best quarterback on the field at yesterday's 126.5 rating. I'm telling you right now, PJ Walker's your starter this weekend. He has, as far as I'm concerned, he has earned another start with this win.
Okay.
He's earned another start.
He earned the start in the first place because everybody else was hurt.
Yeah.
If he beats,
what did he do?
If he beats the other guys out, then he should be the starter. I just, I
got my first show because a dude went to jail and I had to cover for him with like 10 minutes before. And what did I do with it? I'm running up a career that got me trophies now, right? Sometimes a dude steps in, even though he didn't earn it, and then friggin' earns it. And PJ Walker did that.
I just want to point out, I don't care who plays quarterback. I just want them to win. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I just don't think he's going to be the guy.
Respect that. All right, let's take a break. We got more of that coming around the corner. We will open the next hour of the show with the last Palmetto State team we have not gotten to yet, the Gamecocks in the Cola. Knock off the biggest fraud in college football in Jimbo. God, I love seeing Jimbo's smarly stupid face. What happened? You know what Jimbo was thinking? Go ahead and fire me. A little $80 million buyout.
The old Ed Orgeron. Show me the door, brother. Show me the door.
Yeah, I think I can retire on an $80 million buyout, you idiots. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
All right, I'm fading early.
From the Eagles Market Studio.
Upstate, 97.7 FM.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it's set up to react to sound.
La, 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 la. Yeah, that thing goes crazy when you talk. When you talk. Don't you get us flagged? What are you doing? Had a good show Saturday night. I found out that Tron has a new album coming out,
Oh yeah.
and listened to his old stuff on Spotify. It's pretty good. So I interviewed him about his album.
What kind of music does he do?
It's upbeat rap, but he's also got a bunch of instrumental, and the instrumental is good. Turns out he also he plays the trumpet, and it's just like,
Dude, we got half a ska.
I said, there we go. There's another piece falling into place for me to get a horn section for the Christmas karaoke special.
The name of the band is going to be Audacity.
I don't think you can do that because of the, I am curious if we can be flagged for you humming the theme song. You shaking your head. You don't know. We've been flagged so no, you don't. We've been flagged for other weird stuff.
Yeah, for
before.
audio.
So what you're doing is not audio.
Not copyrighted audio. You can hum a song.
Can you?
Yeah, you just can't perform it.
Aren't you kind of performing by humming it?
I don't think so. But I'm also an idiot. Why would you listen to me?
I think we're doing an online performance right now. So I mean, I just. Something I haven't been able to type in a while on chapters. Carolina Panthers win. Just like to say welcome back to the Robbots.
Yes, indeed. The Robbots are back.
You might be right, Trey. Although, Baker did have a bunch of wins in Cleveland, but he also had losses. So.
The Rob Brown Show wrapping up hour number 1. A phenomenal weekend in Carolina football. The Tigers win. The Gamecocks win. The Panthers win. This dubs all around. Is that the first time it's happened since I moved here? I think it is.
Nah, it can't be.
I think it is. I think it is the first time that all 3 teams have won in the same weekend since I moved here. 3rd season. It's pretty spectacular, to be honest with you. So from the first hour of the conversation, the 2 takeaways I'm rolling with. DJ Uiagalelei is still the starter for Clemson. Cade came in. He did a fine job as a handoff machine. 4 passes. It's really about as good as you could have asked him to do. He came in. He got the job done against Cuse. Cade went 2 of 4, 19 yards, had a bunch of hands off, and didn't fumble the ball, right? And at that point, that's what you wanted. Go out there and just don't do turnover number 4. 2 picks, 2 fumbles. But we also learned that during the game, DJ Uiagalelei got his hand stepped on and gashed open, and he lost feeling in that hand, which is part of the reason that he got pulled, right? Part of the reason he got pulled. DJ Uiagalelei will be the starter on the 5th of November when they travel to South Bend to take on the Irish of Notre Dame. Carolina should start PJ Walker this weekend. PJ Walker had the best performance of a Carolina quarterback since probably week 3 of last year when Sam was in that stretch. But keep in mind, even during that stretch, Sam Darnold wasn't killing folks with the arm. Sam Darnold was running the ball around people. And it worked great till it didn't. Till the rest of the league caught on to that and then stopped him and it went downhill. The Carolina Panthers have another divisional game this Sunday. They are on the road at Atlanta. You can beat Tampa. You can beat Atlanta.
First place is at stake, right?
It is. It is. PJ Walker should be the starter this Sunday. He earned it. Now, I've always hated the expression, starting quarterback can't lose his job to injury. Hell yeah, they can. If somebody comes in and blows it up, and PJ Walker came in and blew it up. Do I think PJ Walker's a Pro Bowler? No. Do I think PJ Walker's starting at the end of the year? Probably not. But he's earned a second chance. And if you want the best chance to win so far this year, PJ Walker's that. When we come back, Gamecock football. Let's talk about their dub over the biggest fraud in college football, Jimbo Fisher. That's next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Yes, exactly, Joey B. First off, nice jersey in the picture, buddy. I like your style. Second off, yes, anybody can lose their job due to injury or illness.
And by the way, Marcus, we talked about that because we were looking at the rest of the Panthers schedule, and it's not that hard, really.
The NFC South is absolutely trash. It's garbage right now. The Saints are bad. The Bucs are bad. The Falcons are bad. They're just less bad than I expected them to be at the beginning of the year. And the Panthers are bad. But you're beating the top team in the division, even if it's because they're bad. Make that run, man.
Well, how good is
Steve Wilkes has got to be drooling right now.
We're going to find out how good Atlanta is when they play Carolina's defense. I think that's really what it comes down to. They didn't fare too well last week. What was it, Cincinnati that beat them? Or yesterday?
Yeah, but Cincinnati has found something out. Cincinnati's found their mojo.
What, they're able to keep –
Jamar Chase is a freaking beast now.
And keeping Joe Burrow upright has its advantages.
That's a fact.
So I reviewed this Saturday. I got Gotham Knights Friday, and Cameron and I are playing through the co-op mode.
How do you like it so far? Really?
Yeah. I hope it gets better. If not, I'm not going to say that I wasted like $80.
But you're not loving it.
But it's $80, and you get so used to playing stuff on Game Pass.
Yeah.
You're not really buying full price for a game, and prices are going up just like they are everywhere.
Yep.
And it's no, I think you play it thinking that you're going to get the same play style as the Arkham games, the same flow, because there's a flow to those games about how Batman can go from opponent to opponent and all, especially when you get going. It's just like you chain all those things. Not so much. I don't like the camera work. The camera doesn't follow you the way it should, so you got to constantly move your camera. There's some things I don't like. I do see the possibility of it getting better. And there's a thing called knighthood. And my understanding is if you unlock knighthood, it makes things flow better. Okay. So there are things to work for as far as unlocking abilities and stuff. You can make your own suits, though, with materials.
Okay.
And
like
instead of,
yeah.
Well, they're made suits, but still, you can go through and go, oh, that man. Although I made one which was a stealth suit, and it is sweet looking for Nightwing. And the suit that I had on had 24 armor rating. The one I made was 12. So I wasn't paying attention to the armor rating. I was just looking at, oh, this is really cool. And then it's like, no. As of now, I wouldn't suggest
hold off
for anyone to buy it unless you are a big time fan of one of the characters, which I am. It's worth it for me to get to play as Nightwing because that's the comic I collect and all that kind of stuff. But and they never said it was going to have the same combat style as the Arkham games. I just think you believe it, that because the fighting style is so good on those, you think that they would go right away. Oh yeah, let's make it like that. And they didn't.
The Arkham series was one of the best series of video games ever made.
Agreed. Also, you can't wreck the bat cycle. I tried. You can't wreck the other guy on a bat cycle. Cameron's like, why are you so far behind? He didn't realize I keep coming up and trying
everything.
No, I keep trying to T-bone him and it won't do it. And I ran full speed into the back of a car and it just kind of went, don't. It just stopped. It's like, okay, I should be over those handlebars and splattered against that building and nothing happened. That's disappointing. I also had to go to an earlier save on Odyssey because there's something I just can't beat yet. I'm level 49 now. I'm almost to the cap.
So is it going to replace Assassin's Creed for a little while?
No, because we're playing together. So I can only play when he and I are playing together. And I can only handle the headset on for about an hour. Yeah. Then it starts hurting.
I've gone back and forth. I'll probably pick it up for the weekend. So I might be able to play with you guys a little bit this weekend because we got a hockey game. I got Burns Friday and a hockey game Saturday and Sunday. We got nothing.
Except for another Panther victory.
Luke said, I kind of wish we had kept Teddy Bridgewater. You were paying him a lot to be pretty much what PJ Walker was yesterday, if we're being honest.
The Bridgewater's not starting where he is, right? I don't even remember where he is. Is he in Miami? Yeah.
He came in for Tua because Tua got his bell rung, and then he got his bell rung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather be an Oos or an honorary Oos?
Dude, Sami Zayn's the best.
Honorary Ooses seem to have more fun.
That's a fact. All right. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, y'all. What's happening? What's up? How's everybody? I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, on the other side of the metaphorical glass. And I will have you people know, ladies and gentlemen, that Lonzo just had a crazy week in the Boo Box Bets picks. 7-3 on the week for the great one. 7-3 for the great one.
No. I did not just win.
No, you didn't. I went 8-2. Your great week.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but that would be 5.
No, draws don't count. We talked about
No. I lost the week before and didn't draw the box because you felt sorry for me.
That's
I never
true.
asked for that.
That's true.
So that would be 5 losses.
I will accept it. Here's how the picks went this weekend. Rob Brown won a perfect 5-0 in college ball.
I just want to point out I deserved to lose this week because of what I did.
If you'd have picked your own team,
right? That's why I deserved to lose. They hadn't scored over 30 points the entire year, so I looked at it and. By
the way, I tried to talk you into taking your own team.
Dude, for a while it looked like I was going to be right because
I was defense.
Because I was defense. Yeah, and Iowa's defense was playing Ohio State really hard, and then the second half happened.
And then they Ohio Stated and I want
to point out again, I never said Ohio State was going to lose.
No, I don't.
I just didn't think they would score 30 because they hadn't done it all year.
So here's how the picks wrapped up. Texas was -6 at Oklahoma State. I took the Cowboys, pistols up, Zoe took the horns. 34-41 your final.
If you're
Cowboys
wondering-
win outright.
If you wonder why I keep going horns down on the screen,
That's why.
I've been doing that since the beginning of the
Yep.
show.
Ole Miss was at LSU. The Tigers, the Bayou Bengals, were 2.5-point favorites. Looked like they were in trouble there for a little while. Then they ran off 40-plus unanswered, and they beat the Bulldogs 45-20. We both had LSU. We both had Alabama minus 21. Mississippi State ends up getting smoked by the Tide 30-6. We both win that one. Both of us had the Gamecocks. They were 3-point dogs at home to Jimbo Fisher's Texas A&M Aggies.
I'd really love to crow right now, but my crow is so bad. I just can't do it.
Come on, Rufio.
No,
Rufio.
no.
Rufio.
Rufio died, man. I'm not going to act like Rufio.
Texas A&M falls to the Gamecocks 24-30. We're going to talk about that one in a minute, but Zoe and I both hit that. Iowa at Iowa State. The Buckeyes were minus 30 in this one. I tried to talk him into taking Ohio State. Ohio State has more players that have individual touchdowns. They have 4 players who have more individual touchdowns than Iowa has as a team.
This thing is so much in my head. It's in my head. I'm trying everything. And I just, it's when you go up against someone who does something for a living, and they're pretty good at it. And I can't beat Rob. I just can't do it. At this, I can beat him at other stuff probably, but at this, I can't beat him at it.
We had a split in that one. I took the Buckeyes. Zoe took the Hawkeyes plus 30, 54-10. Your final in that one. Rob goes a perfect 5-0 in college football. In the National Football League, Zoe went 4-1 in the NFL. He took the Cats as 13-point dogs to the Bucks. They won outright, not just won outright, beat Tampa 21-3. I had Brady's Bucks. I will not make that mistake again. We both had the Bengals minus 6.5 over Atlanta. They won 35-17. We both had the Cowboys minus 7 over Detroit. They won that 24-6 easily. We both had the Chiefs over the Niners as 2-point favorites. They smoked that line 44-23, your final in favor of the red team. And we both had the Miami Dolphins last night. And frankly, Lonzo, we both should have had that. Miami pulled off the gas late. 7.5-point favorites. They win by 6. Your final 16-10 Dolphins. We both had Miami in that one. Had Zoe picked differently in any one game, he would have won this thing. Or at least had a draw. But it wraps up. Rob goes 5-0 in college ball. 3-2 against the spread in the NFL. I am 8-2 on the week. Lonzo goes 3-2 in college ball. A spectacular 4-1 in the NFL.
All right.
7-3. Our season records as they stand right now. I have improved to 42-28 against the spread. Lonzo inches back into this thing, creeping towards 500 at 33-37. One more 7-3 weeks, Zoe, and you're back on the right side of things.
I've been given fraudulent information from this station, and I count on this station to give me the information that's correct. But I've been given fraudulent information because according to this station, you're an NFL guy. So how in the world did you get all the college games correctly? As an NFL guy, I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know. Gosh,
I'm not going to believe where I got that information from ever again.
So it's almost like I'm just really good at everything. I don't pigeonhole myself into being a one sport kind of guy. I'm just a sports guy. Just like I told you, Philly was going to beat the Padres in the NLCS because the Padres were good. But the Phillies did what the Braves did last year. They got white hot at exactly the right time. Playing in the wild card round helped Philly because they were hot They stayed on their rhythm. They were able to go through the San Diego Padres to get to the World Series. And on the flip side, I told you the Astros would beat the Yankees because the Astros are just good. Aaron Judge got his final home run, and the Yankees have sucked since then.
So for our faithful listeners and for the new listeners that we're getting all the time, I want to say that I'm sorry. I've let you down again. You don't get what you want. You don't get Rob Brown in that box. You get me again. And I'm sorry. I really am. I'm doing my best. I really am.
Oh, you're done. You called it. You're out. You're out. That's fine.
Nah, because you were gonna go to letting the audience pick. I'll just go ahead and lose all year. I mean, it's all right. I'll be okay. I can't bow out now, even though we made rules. I think that would be less than manly, and I can't do that. I'm too macho for that.
5-0 in college football. Goes the NFL guy.
I also want to remind you that I still have in my back pocket.
You do have the birthday exemption.
I do, because I didn't use it last time.
You do have the birthday exemption still able. So there's your Boo Box Bets picks for the week. Rob goes 5-0 in college ball, 3-2 in the NFL, 8-2 on the week. Edges out Lonzo by a single game. Zoe went 3-2 in college ball, 4-1 in the NFL, and wraps up his week 7-3. I am 42-28 on the season. Lonzo is 33-37.
I'm going to listen to my heart from now on. From now on.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
You just did.
Yeah, again. All right. So Boo Box Bets in the back pocket. Let's talk just a little bit about what happened on a South Carolina Saturday night over in Columbia. Open the game with a Xavier Legette 102-yard Beaver ball kickoff return for a TD.
By the way, talking about a crowd.
Ooh.
That crowd was on fire.
Before the season started, I had a couple of games that I circled that I wanted to get to. I wish I'd have been there for that one. I do. Stadium was electric. After Legette brought back the opening kick, a $102 to 6 it and open the game with a lead before Spencer Rattler even touched the football. From the folks that I talked to that were there, they said that was the most electric that stadium has been in a very long time. I was there for 2 games last year. I was there for the Florida game. I was there for the Clemson game last year. The end of the Florida game and the beginning of the Clemson game were both remarkable. Both remarkable. But I got told it was louder than that last night. Texter said, fan, I was there. Let me tell you, when he returned that kick return, that place was bleeping electric. It was so loud, I could not hear. I believe it. And it came across on TV. Spencer Rattler, 12 of 25, 168, no touchdowns, those picks. Let me go ahead and tell you right now. Spencer Rattler and the Gamecock offense, Lonzo, they need to have a bit of a metamorphosis here. I don't need you throwing the ball 30 times a game anymore. I need Rattler throwing the ball 15 to 17 times to keep defenses honest. You're a run team now.
Well,
you talked about Clemson being a Big Ten team now. South Carolina's a run team now because Marshawn Lloyd is a dog.
Yeah, and according to the TV broadcast, he knocked on the door and said, we need to run the ball more. And so they did, and look at what happened. I only have a couple problems with the game, and one of them is I think Spencer Rattler still is not what we were told he is. And maybe realizing you're a running team will help him more than him throwing the ball as much as he is, because he still seems a little uncertain.
I'm going to tell you my theory on that. Glad you said that. Here's my theory on that. When Spencer transferred in from Oklahoma, we talked a little bit about it. Like, why did Spencer? Because I think we all agree. I don't think it's unfair to say, even if you're a Spencer Rattler guy, I don't think it's unfair to say Spencer Rattler failed at Oklahoma, right? We know he did. He had a great rookie year. Year two, he failed.
Being benched, that kind of...
It's failed.
Yeah,
he failed.
It's failed.
All right. He underperformed and he failed. Transferred over. Do you remember what my theory was about Spencer Rattler and the reason he failed at Oklahoma? My theory was that Spencer is not a guy who was able to stone up and handle the pressure, because the expectations at Oklahoma were win the Big 10. Scratch that. Big 12, sorry. Win the Big 12. It'd be really impressive if he won the Big 10 in Oklahoma. Win the Big 12. Get into the playoffs. Win a Natty. Win a Heisman. Those were the baseline expectations for Spencer Rattler. And those are freaking big shoes to be in, right? And I don't think Spence was manually and mentally prepared to handle that pressure. So here he comes to Carolina. I said, I think he's got a better chance to revert back to the Spencer Rattler we expected at Carolina. Why? Because the expectations aren't there, right? What did we say was a reasonable expectation for the Gamecocks this year? A bowl game. 6-6 is reasonable. 7-5 would be great. 8-4 was possible, though not probable. And anything above 8 would be a miracle season for the Gamecocks. What did we expect from Spencer Rattler? We didn't expect him to win the division. We didn't expect him to win the conference. We certainly didn't expect a playoff or a natty run. We didn't expect a Heisman. What did we expect from Spencer Rattler? Go out there and be good. That's it. Be good. Spencer Rattler has been adequate and nothing more. And that's not a shot, because what he's doing and being adequate has gotten Carolina to a 5-2 record. They need one more to be bowl eligible. We're halfway through the season, barely.
What did you say that the South Carolina Gamecocks record was?
5-2.
No,
and by the way,
that can't be right.
And by the way, 5-2. And their only 2 losses were on the road at a top 15 team and at home versus the best team in college football. It's the only 2 losses. One of them came to Georgia. You know who else is going to lose to Georgia? Every damn body they play. And Arkansas on the road. Fayetteville. Hogs getting called. Loud, tough. They went to Kentucky's house and beat them. They brought Jimbo's Aggies to the house and beat them. And the Gamecocks of South Carolina suddenly find themselves inside the AP top 25.
All right, that is awesome, but I do have a problem with this win though. And you would think, because Beamer was there during Steve Spurrier era, and he knows what Steve Spurrier would do. He would put some extra points on where he needs to put some extra points on. When you're down, it was like 4th and 2, like on the 5 or the 6, and you decide to go for it instead of kicking points, which would have made it a 12-point deficit between you and the other team. I thought that was a horrible decision, and it nearly cost them, because I also think the defense kind of took the stance, hey, we won, and they backed off, and then suddenly Texas A&M drives all the way down the field. They don't have that killer instinct yet, and they need to find that. Now you're winning some games. You got to learn how to put that dagger in there at the end of the game. That really, really worried me. It's like, okay, they're going to turn around. They're going to lose this game because he didn't kick a field goal there.
I don't know how I feel about it, because I absolutely do think you're kind of in a spot here where.
Wouldn't you have kicked the field goal? I definitely would have kicked the field goal. I would not have went for it there. Kick the field goal. Make it a 12-point game.
The difference between 12-9 versus playing a field position game in that spot is interesting, right? Your defense have been good for the most part all night, right? It's kind of a similar situation that we were talking to earlier. There are times when field position does matter more than points, right? The difference between now, if the difference though was between 8 and 11, you absolutely kick the field goal. Right?
I'm not trying to find a negative in a very positive situation. I just, you could – I was worried. I would have kicked the field goal, and I think there are a lot of other people out there who would have done the same thing.
I would not have. And I would not have, because the difference between 9 and 12, it's a 2-score game either way, right? It's still a 2-score game.
Yeah, but it's 2 touchdowns if you kick the field goal as opposed to a field goal and a touchdown.
I understand, but your defense has been, for the most part, pretty good all night, and I would rather make them go, 80 yards-ish? I'd rather make them go well over half the length of the field than give them the opportunity to pop a return or set themselves up with great field position and strike quick. But that's a coaching decision. It worked out.
I can speak on behalf of all Gamecock fans when not only did they get the field goal, then they got the onside kick. That field goal would have made a difference, because instead of kicking a field goal, Texas A&M would have had to have gone for it, because they would have known they would have had to score 2 touchdowns, and that would have took more time off the clock. I just think it was a poor decision.
We will talk about that a little bit further. Here's what I want to finish up that take on Spencer Rattler. So I think Spencer Rattler is an adequate quarterback for the job in front of them now. Spencer Rattler, the way the Gamecocks are playing right now, Spencer Rattler is certainly good enough to beat Missouri. He's certainly good enough to beat Vanderbilt. He should be good enough to beat Florida. As exciting as this is, they're still going to get absolutely mollywomped by Tennessee and Clemson. They just are. All right? Sorry. They're going to get absolutely smoked by Tennessee and Clemson. No harm, no foul. Those are both playoff teams, right?
Should I look up mollywomped? I've never heard that.
I don't know
before.
if I made that word up or if I heard it somewhere in my past.
It sounds kind of new.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I hate it. I just hadn't heard it before.
I don't know that I've ever heard it before. I don't know where it came from. The preseason, I said 6 is the goal, 7's achievable, 8 would be spectacular. They are sitting currently at 5-2. So Missouri's winnable. You open as a 5-point favorite. Vanderbilt is certainly winnable. You're gonna open that as a 5.5 to 7-point favorite. At Florida, of the next 3, at Florida is the one I'm worried about. Only because it's at Florida and the swamp is no joke. But
no, I'm not worried about Florida.
They're 4-3. I mean, they're 4-3.
By the way, mollywopped is a word. To strike, slap, or slam into one, either once or repeatedly, to wallop one.
Not only did I use it correctly, but I used it in context perfectly. Man.
Way to go. Now I've learned a new word.
All right, so Florida's lost 3. They lost at
Kentucky.
And
Florida just hasn't looked good at all season. Even in winning, they don't look good.
Missouri 24-17 didn't look great in that one. They beat, at the time, number 2, now number 7, or was it number 7 Utah, whatever they were at the time. They beat Utah 29-26, and it took a couple of mistakes to get there. It's not a great Florida team, but it is the best of the next 3. What I don't need is for the Gamecocks to be looking ahead to Florida and forget Mizzou. Because Mizzou's a winnable football game. It's a losable football game too, right? Like, they're good enough to catch you if you're having a bad day. If you're looking ahead, I'm really happy that Vandy is between Mizzou and Florida. That's going to keep your eyes on the prize, and I like that. Spencer Rattler has been adequate. He's been adequate. Not good. Not great. Good enough. But that's why I have said you're a running team now. You are a Marshawn Lloyd-driven, Jalen Brooks-assisted, Christian Beal Smith-helped running the football team. $118 on the ground, and that includes the negative yardage from sacks against Spencer Rattler. You're a running team now. 168 through the air, no touchdowns, no picks. And I'm kind of at the point, Zoe, that the best South Carolina team is the one that protects the football, does not turn it over, runs it well. That's the Gamecocks I'm looking for. That Gamecock team, no turnovers, run the ball for $150 or better. You'll beat Mizzou. You'll beat Vandy. You'll be in a shootout with the Gators. You'll be an 8-win football team. And if I told you preseason 8 wins would be the season total, I think most Gamecock fans would have been ready to party.
And by the way, you glossed over the last game. The last game will be nothing but running on both sides of the field.
That game's going to be over in 45 minutes.
It'll be the fastest Clemson-Carolina game ever.
That game's going to be over in 4. That game's going to kick at 7:30 and be over at 9 o'clock. Can't wait. All right, let's get a couple of texts and thoughts on the Gamecocks game in here. Marcus on the stream said the only reason Gamecocks won was because A&M had to bring in their backup quarterback, just like Kentucky, right? LOL. Here's the difference. If you don't see the difference,
there's no difference.
You don't see the difference.
Injuries are part of the game. You know, a team's going to have injuries. That's just how it goes.
If you don't see the difference between not having a first-round NFL draft pick and not having Max Johnson, then I don't know what to tell you. If you don't see the difference between not having a guy who's going to be gone in the first 5 to 7 rounds of the NFL draft versus not having Max Johnson, then I can't help you.
I'm trying to work on my dismissive tone. Come on, Rob.
Oh, no, I just ignored you.
Come on, Rob.
No, I'm just ignoring that. I'm just ignoring
Well, you
it.
heard it was there, though. So I'm working on it. And it was heartfelt, by the way. There is no difference. There is no difference. Injuries are part of the game. Just like referees making bad calls, part of the game. There's no difference. I don't care if you lost your third stringer or your first stringer. There's no difference. You go out, you play the game, you do your best. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose.
Listen, I love Lonzo enough that I acquired a Luke Kuechly signed football and I gave it to him because I love Lonzo as a brother.
If you continue to bring up a gift, you're trying to make it sound as if it's a bargaining chip for something.
I'm doing this to butter you up before I tell you that this is your worst take.
It's not.
It's your worst take.
At least you didn't do what some people have done on the air. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. And you know what?
I buttered you up first.
Yeah. And the people who said that, and they all know who they are. It's pretty messed up when they said that. So
I prefer the sandwich method. Compliment. Worst take ever. Compliment.
Yeah, but
your hair looks great today.
It always looks great. When you don't normally compliment me, then it's like when you go talk to the boss and hey, good job. It's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I am in so
job
much
today. Shut the door.
Yeah. And the thing is with him, you try to leave, you keep trying to leave because it's coming. And if you could just get out of the room and I've made it partway down the hall. Oh, by the way, Lonzo. And it's like,
crap.
Got me again.
Texas says the fan. Gamecocks record against ranked teams with their starting quarterbacks is 0-1. This inflation is going to hurt the little bros even more when they leave Death Valley with loss number 8 in a row. Oh no, Clemson's going to beat South Carolina handily.
I don't know that there's no doubt about it. They might be able to make it a little more interesting this time. And they may not. We'll see. Clemson should beat Carolina. But it sounds to me like maybe some Clemson people, maybe this texter is starting to get a little bit concerned.
Clemson's going to beat South Carolina handily if that game is on our Boo Box Bets picks the week of Thanksgiving. I'll tell you right now, I'm taking the Tigers with whatever points you want to give to the Gamecocks. They're going to beat the hell out of them.
If both teams should go undefeated the rest of the way, we both probably will still pick Clemson.
Yes, correct. I don't know. If South Carolina beats Tennessee, I
don't know. If I get my last chance to put him in the box, I probably will. Yeah.
Lonzo may have to roll the dice.
No, I said I'm going with my heart the rest of the way. Go Gamecocks.
Carolina's going to get beat by Clemson by 24. All right. They're just that much better than them right now. But
are they though?
Yes, they are.
Are they though?
Yes,
I don't know. Not after what we saw Saturday. I don't know.
I mean, what we saw was a banged up DJ trying to play through it. It didn't work, and then they showed you what they are too.
I'm not talking about DJ. I'm talking about the defense. That's what I'm talking about. Again, DJ didn't allow those points to be scored.
I think you're committing
for the one ball that he fumbled.
I think you're committing the same mistake a lot of people on TV did and just say, "Oh, Syracuse, they suck," and ignore what they've done. And what they've done offensively is pretty impressive. All right. Texas says, hey, Rob, go ahead and change your name to Cocky Rob as it fits your radio personality and your fandom. Dude, did I not just say Clemson beats Carolina by 24? Did I not? Pay attention. Listen, listener. Let's add the listen part of listener here.
Hey, Clemson Joe, Bob, Judy, whoever
Tiger
you are.
Mike!
There you go.
Tiger Dan! I literally just said your team beats South Carolina by 24. Do you understand you're in a different place? You're on a different level? It is one thing. I expect Clemson to beat Syracuse. Who expected Carolina to beat A&M?
We both did because we picked them.
Spread. I picked them against the spread.
Oh, I expected them to win.
Either way, the point is, pay attention. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. That was a very long segment.
Okay, so the point is, pay attention to the
How is
clock.
it only
Pay attention to the clock.
10:30?
What do you mean only 10:30? We're halfway through.
I know.
You think it's dragging or something?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Even with the lot to talk about, this feels like a slow show. I had to turn the light off. It was like distracting.
All right, I'm going to take us off the stream because I'm going to eat something. Just being honest.
Take Andy Dalton, who after losing Thursday held a 113
All right, we back.
Chicago Bears also hit the stretch. Chicago was 0-9 this last night.
Out of curiosity, do you guys have access to a Mankind mask? No, but
If we did, I'd wear it every day.
I wish I did. If I had a Mankind mask, my Halloween costume would be set. That being said, Lonzo, Halloween being on Monday, are we dressing up? Scratch that. Are you dressing up with me?
I'm dressing up Saturday. I could just wear the same thing Monday.
100%.
But
In order for Ohio State to lose, I would needed to have some sort of offense, which, LOL.
I'd hate to come dressed up Monday and do not be dressed up.
Oh, I will be. Oh, I very will be.
On your side as your trusted real estate advisor throughout your entire home ownership journey. It does not matter whether you are looking to find a perfect house for you and your family, whether you're in a house and you need to upgrade, or you just want to sell it to make a little change. Alan Tate is there working on behalf
for you and your family. Whether you're
You want
in a
them in your
house and you
corner.
need to upgrade or you just want to sell it to make a
Local
little cash,
offices right here in the
I remember one time having to
regardless of what side you're on.
interview Burns coaches at Chiefs Wings in Spartanburg, and I pulled off my hockey mask as I was as Jason, and it was nothing but skin and everything hanging off my face the entire time while people were in there eating. And seeing the coach trying to be serious while talking to me. Good times. Get that evil away from me, Trey. What you doing? I don't think it matters when Halloween is because I think most people have their Halloween parties on the weekend anyway.
Yeah.
The boss used to have those Halloween parties for us. Got to see what a gated community actually looked like. It was awesome. Was afraid to touch anything though, but you know.
All right, here we go. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, y'all. Rob, Lonzo, you. Carolina football. And when I say Carolina, I mean Clemson. I mean South Carolina. I mean the Panthers. Put on an absolute show this weekend.
Only the special ones have Carolina in their name.
I would argue that the special one right now is very much looking forward to next Monday when the first college football playoff rankings come out.
I don't think they should look forward to that. I don't think Clemson's going to be as high as they think they're going to be.
I think there's a very good chance that Clemson is outside of a playoff spot to start the first one.
For sure. What do you think? 5, 6, something like that?
I think 5. I the only question I'm going to have is, does a 7-1 Alabama team get the legacy vote to go ahead of Clemson? This is interesting because while Clemson the last year and a half has not been the powerhouse they were for the few years before that, they are still 8-0. They are still undefeated. But Bama has played a much more difficult schedule than Clemson so far. They lost one game. And that one loss was to a team that is inside of the top 3 and is undefeated now. But I don't think that Clemson nor Alabama need to be all that concerned, right? I think both of those schools are in a point now where they can basically win out and you're in, right? And here's why.
Right, but neither one of them can lose.
No, neither one can lose.
Right. I know Alabama already lost once, but they can't lose again, and Clemson can't lose, period.
A one-loss SEC team can still get in if the cards get played the correct way. Alabama going 7-2 can still get in. They're 6 in the AP poll. I don't expect much to be all that different in the CFB poll when the first rankings drop on the 1st. But a 2-loss SEC team will not jump an undefeated ACC team. I don't know that a 1-loss SEC team will jump an undefeated ACC team, but Bama cannot get a second L, which puts them at 6, Clemson at 5. That's in the AP poll. I suspect the college football playoff will be the same. Georgia maintains their hold on the number 1 spot with 31 first-place votes and 1,530 points. These Ohio State Buckeyes, after covering the 30-point spread against Iowa this weekend, as one NFL guy said they would, they find themselves creeping up towards Georgia as well. They, at this point, are a mere, Lonzo, 17 points behind Georgia, which means that
they should be getting more love than what they're getting. But
I don't know how you can get more
that's
love.
my opinion.
How would they get more love? They're number 2, and the only team
I can tell you how
the
you
clear-cut favorite.
They're not the clear-cut favorite. The Georgia is not the clear-cut. I know you're saying that. That doesn't mean that everyone is saying that. Georgia is not the clear-cut favorite.
In my subjective opinion, the clear-cut favorite.
That was a very accurate statement.
Thanks. You sway, if you are the Buckeyes, you sway about, I don't know, 6 first-place votes your direction.
You doing Steiner math right now?
33 1/3% chance of swaying 92% of the voters. You smoked Iowa. I'll tell you this, though. You have Penn State this weekend. You have got a Nittany Lion team that is currently inside the top 15.
Who got whooped by Michigan.
But then beat the brakes off of Minnesota, in the very next game. Ohio State has Penn State, and it's on the road. Here's what's interesting about this game.
Is it a whiteout?
It is a noon game.
Okay. Why does that matter? I still don't get. I really
it's a noon
don't.
Game.
So they get to play at noon.
Stadiums are louder at night. That's just an objective. My opinion is subjective. It is objectively true. Even Kirk talking about the Clemson game was like, it's kind of disappointing that the Clemson-Syracuse game is a day game because Death Valley's not the same during the day.
We've had this discussion many times, and you haven't given me a definitive answer of why it's louder at night. The only thing that's different at night is they're more drunk. That's the only thing. So when you get more drunk, you get louder.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
You give Rob Brown an extra 8 hours of whiskey loving time.
Wow. I mean, I hope you're pacing yourself at that point.
Yeah, I'm a professional.
So you're going to make it to game time if you're doing 8 hours?
I'm a tailgating expert. I've been doing it for a long time.
Okay.
A long time. You can tell the people who aren't professionals, who think it's a sprint, not a marathon. It's a marathon, kids. Be careful. All right. Mix in a Gatorade betwixt those natty lights.
I was going to say, according to commercials, there needs to be water involved in
Yes.
there somewhere. So, yeah.
Yes. Mix in a Gatorade every now and then, my guys. Anyway, if Ohio State knocks off Penn State this weekend, Georgia has Florida. Ohio State going to Penn State and taking down the Nittany Lions, Lonzo, is going to sway a handful of voters. I'll make the call now. If you guys beat Penn State this weekend, you will be number 1 next Monday in the AP poll.
Yeah, but it'd have to be a pretty big margin of
I
victory.
don't necessarily think so.
So you think a close game, and it was, I don't know.
You're playing a top 15 team. They're playing a 3-loss Florida team. It's a more impressive win. You're playing a top 15 team on the road. They are at home against Florida. Your win will be more impressive in a one-weekend performance. And the fact that you're only 17 points out of first place right now, like I mentioned, you sway what? You get 25 points you sway about 5 to 7 first place votes your direction. And then you have about 10 other ballots move you to first. You take over that position with the win over Penn State. I think it's absolutely possible. But Clemson at 5, you will likely be 5 because I don't think anybody in the top 4 loses this weekend, right? You at 5 are fine Because by the end of the season, 1 and 3 will have played each other. 2 and 4 will have played each other. There are 2 spots open for you, right? Now, the question is going to be Bama, not Clemson. If you win out and win the ACC, you're in, right? We had my man Tim come on last week. I know there was a lot of controversy because Tim went on offsides and created a hypothetical scenario where he asked, could Clemson get left out if TCU and UCLA both end up going undefeated and then UCLA lost? I humored the conversation because I thought it was interesting as a hypothetical. Diesel and Mark shot Tim down, said it was a silly hypothetical. I didn't think it was, but it didn't matter because UCLA got busted up this weekend. The only team left outside of them that is unbeaten at this point, that has no mar on the record, are TCU out of the Big 12. And let's be real, the Big 12 isn't impressing anybody right now. So Clemson, it's real simple. Win and you're in. That's it. That's it. Win and you're in. Georgia's going to play Tennessee. Ohio State plays Michigan. There's 2 more losses coming to the top 4, if not before that, right? Clemson is, at this point, I think, through the games that I was worried about. I was worried about FSU. You let it get a little closer than you like, but you won. I was worried about Syracuse. 4 turnovers, you still won. You should be fine at Notre Dame. That team's not good. You should be fine at home against Louisville. That team's not good. Miami just lost to Duke by 24, for the love of all that's sacred. You know what's funny? Where's my man Zach Brown? I love Zach. Zach's good people. But Zach had a lot to say about the Canes earlier in the year, and all of a sudden, my man Zach's gone MIA on me after the Canes got beat by the Blue Devils in their own house. There was a dude on Twitter that posted a picture of him at the game. Lonzo, there might have been 1,000 people at that football game. Dude said he picked up tickets for $3 outside the stadium. $3. The Canes are back, baby. Anyway, you'll wreck Miami, and then you just got to make sure you beat South Carolina at home, and you're in. There's nothing left to yell about. Tiger fans, win out, you're in. It's that simple. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up our numero dos after this. The great ones at the helm. My name is Rob Brown. We got baseball left to talk about. Greenville Triumph, Greenville Swamp Rabbits, both set to have big weekends this weekend. We'll talk about that. And we still got to run through the NFL scoreboard. Barely touched that yet, which is shocking from NFL guys. Rob and Lonzo and you on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
We're failures. We're not living up to our moniker. Hey, I was gonna say, if you're leaving, I'm leaving because. Oh no!
New toy.
Oh no!
We had a new toy. Give me 20 seconds, guys. Be right back.
State 97.75 Greenville.
97.5. Oh.
Everybody with a microphone hates your team. That's just the reality broadcast. And only your team, by the way, James.
Can't wait till tomorrow when I get my windshield fixed, and then I can go wash my car. Because I've been afraid to wash it, afraid that it will crack worse with the thingy on it. Whatever those brush thingies are called. The bots were here, and now they're gone.
We had a good run.
They only have to be here for a while, though. I don't know if you noticed when during the Kansas City game, every time they showed Christian McCaffrey, he's on the sideline next to the coach, like that guy who never gets to get in, who's always been told if you're next to the coach might see you and put you in, like in high school when you're a backup. Remind me to tell you about the buried car.
The buried car?
Yeah, I got to talk to you about this. Next break. I meant to send you the story.
Wrapping up the second hour of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. Astros end up sweeping the Yankees. What a collapse. What a meltdown by New York. Just fell apart. Last game was at least competitive, I guess. 6-5 win, but the Astros win it. Jeremy Pena, a little bit more heroics. Got a couple of ribbies. They were down 3 were the Astros before they figured it out. Look, it's real simple. The Astros are good, and they have been hilariously good because everybody, I think, had went ahead preseason when guys like Correa split and started etching the tombstone of the Houston Astros. Dusty Bay. Listen, I can't stand the Houston Astros. Their fan base, and I get it, they rallied, right? They had the cheating scandal, and the entire league banged on that for a while, still do. And the Astros kind of rallied around themselves, you know? I have said many, many times over the years, Zoe, that there comes a point, I think the Saints had to do this at some point, and that's where this comes from for me. But there comes a point for a lot of fan bases where you just got to make the realization that there's no coming back, right? There's no coming back. There's no getting to a point where everybody's going to forgive and forget a thing that your team did. And there comes a point where you've just got to embrace being the bad guy. You just got to go full heel, right? I think the New York Yankees hit that spot about 30 years ago where they're like, you know what? You want to hate us? You hate us because you ain't us. And they just embrace being the JAs of the league. They just embrace that nobody likes them. Phillies fans, you ever been to a sporting event in Philly? I've been to a couple. Not only are Philly fans absolutely torturous to be around, but they take pride in it. It's like their thing. They take pride in having nobody like them. The Astros are at that point where I think their fans have realized, you just we just are the bad guys, and we're never going to not be the bad guys. So let's embrace that, which is disappointing because, man, am I happy for Dusty Baker. Man, am I happy for Dusty. Dusty Baker has been a dude that's just been a good dude everywhere he's gone and has always flirted with success, but never been able to get through the door. The story went around that after the Stros finished the sweep of the Yanks yesterday, the boys hit the locker room to pop the bubbly and raise the brooms up high for the sweep. Dusty went to the locker room, pulled back the curtain. A couple of players started looking at him waiting for the speech. He closed it back. And a reporter was there, was like, "Are you not going in?" And he goes, "No, let the boys celebrate for a minute." He's just a good dude. Then what did he do? After he went in, he got told Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yanks, was looking for him. D-Bake ended his part of the celebration to come out and talk to Aaron Boone and give him a hug and say thanks, right? I am so happy for Dusty Baker, but man, do I wish that he was doing it anywhere but Houston. Of course, on the flip side, I can't stand the Phillies either. I am negatively excited about this World Series. I am pulling for the first ever World Series draw. Nobody wins it. I will, for the first time, agree with Lonzo that a draw is a loss if they both end this thing tied somehow. All right, hour number 3. When we come back, we leap through and around the NFL scoreboard. It's Rob, it's Lonzo, it's you, it's the Rob Brown Show, it's the Fan Upstate.
So I sent you an article on Twitter. When this story first came out, they didn't say that the person who used to own the property was a convicted murderer. So it was up in the air. So did this as my oops Saturday night.
Cadaver dogs indicated the possibility. Reported stolen in 92, was 5 feet underground, buried in the 90s.
But look at what was in the back seat or in the trunk.
The concrete?
Bags of cement.
Unused bags of cement.
So my first thought is they found Carmine. That was my first thought. And my second thought was, on the air, I said, here's what happened is this guy knew that the mob was coming to take him out. So he caught the guy who usually is the guy who makes the shoes. And buried the entire car in his yard. And the reason why the cadaver dogs couldn't find a body, this story I haven't read this one, but the original story said the cadaver dogs couldn't find a body was because that particular guy had hauled many bodies in the trunk with the cement to put the shoes on them. And so the stench would have stayed in the car, and that's what they were smelling. So I had a lot of fun with that Saturday night just because it's just what?
I like it.
It's one thing, it buried an entire car. And then the other thing, cement being in the trunk, it's just okay. But none of the articles that I saw Saturday said that it was a convicted murderer's yard. That takes kind of the fun out of it, sort of, out of the story.
Probably should call.
No expensive appointment, no awkward face-to-face conversation. Results are guaranteed for your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forwardhandles.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio.
Start your free online visit. You need to go to this exclusive address,
forhims.com/radio.
That's
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico
forhims.com/radio
this
for
year,
your
but
free
neither of
online
us
visit.
speak Spanish, so we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish, so we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Bears Patriots tonight. What an exciting one.
Yeah, Raw's on.
Vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
So at one point in playing that game, had one of those things where you have to download information
Mhm.
and there's a timer on it, and then waves of
Yeah.
guys come. Cameron's like, "You got it?" It's like, "Yeah, I got it." So I probably took out like 40 guys by myself. He's like,
What's he doing?
he was waiting because you got to wait in the circle for the thing
okay,
to.
gotcha.
Yeah, and he's like, "If you need my help, just let me know." I was like, "Yeah, I got it." Oh no, maybe the game is too easy. I probably shouldn't be able to handle all that, although I do have some skills. Still don't believe Batman's dead, but I guess we'll find out. A little disappointed Saturday night because I thought I had a good topic about, wanting to know audible pops in theaters. I didn't get a whole lot. Maybe I mentioned too many myself and took everyone's away. I still think one of the biggest ones I ever heard is when Yoda pulled out his lightsaber. That was just like, people just went, of course, on your left, but still,
The theater I was in for that was loud for On Your Left, but it was louder when.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. See what I did there? In case you didn't see that movie 4 years ago when it came out.
I think it's been longer than 4 years, actually.
When did Endgame come out?
Man, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it was only 4 years.
2019, it was 3.
It was less. COVID just messed everything up.
I was dating a girl at the time that I took who had fallen asleep during the movie, and I wanted to wake her up because I was trying to answer questions. And when that moment happened, the theater lost its mind, and she woke up angry at the nerds for being so loud in a movie. And that should have been my first clue.
Yeah.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes right now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, y'all. Rob and Lonzo and you. If you'd like to be a part of the program, now is your opportunity. 844 fan phone. 844-326-3663. We have had a lot of conversation so far. Back in the first hour, we opened up talking Clemson over Syracuse. We followed up with Carolina over Tampa. We followed that with our Boo Box Bets picks. We followed that with South Carolina's win over A&M. We followed that by a discussion of today's AP poll. And now we got to get to a little bit of NFL discussion. Why? Because the NFL's weird right now, dude.
Because that's all we do. So we got to make sure that we do our forte, our what we're known for.
Texter says, fan, How about them Panthers? What a dub. We talked a little bit about that. What an absolute dub for Carolina. I need you guys to know that during the half-hour break in the last segment, we go to break. I hit the head. I come back. Lonzo's knocking back a sandwich. And the Sports Flash plays. And Anish Sharaff, the voice of the Panthers, goes, and Carolina wins for the first time under interim head coach Steve Wilkes, knocking off the Buccaneers. And I just hear, like a girl who just got asked by the quarterback to go to prom from the other side of the desk. You'd have thought Lonzo just found the house giving out full-size candy bars for Halloween.
Those things are the NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens.
Yeah.
I've never bought one of those, but if I could find one with Brady.
Sad Brady?
No, Brady being sacked.
Yeah.
Just laying there after a sack. I might actually spend some money on that.
PJ Walker, 16 of 22, $177, 2 touchdowns, a 126 rating. And as far as Rob Brown, noted NFL guy, goes, as far as I'm concerned, he has earned the starting gig this weekend at Atlanta. It is his until they lose it.
By the
or until
way,
he loses it.
According to Sports Illustrated, the Rams offered Akers 4 picks to Panthers for Christian McCaffrey.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm also not surprised they stayed away from that.
Why? He's a washed-up old running back. At least that's what I heard on the Views from Main Street.
Because the 4 picks were not a second, third, fourth, and fifth. I don't know what the picks were, but I know what the picks were, and they were not a second, third, fourth, and fifth. I'd bet you they were in the neighborhood of like 2 fifths, a sixth, and a seventh, and Cam Akers. And here's the deal. Until LA comes out and tells me why Cam Akers lost his job, I don't want him, right? I don't want him. If you come out and tell me Cam Akers lost his job and you give me a good reason, I'm here for it. But here's the thing, Lonzo, what is basically the only way to lose your job as an NFL running back?
Video evidence that you struck someone in an elevator or in a hotel or something?
Or a devastating injury.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only way to lose your role as a starting running back in the NFL is to either have something so egregious that the coaching staff and management go, yeah, I don't want that cat around my team being a cancer, or you blow an ACL. That's it. That's the only way you lose that gig, right? So until the Rams come clean about why Cam Akers lost his job, Cam plus 2 6 and a couple of sevenths, or a fifth, a sixth, and 2 sevenths, or whatever it was going to be, is not as valuable as a second, third, fourth, and fifth. And the rumor is there were other teams involved in discussion for McCaffrey, but I suspect most teams were going to give you a player, certainly not of his quality. Here's the other part. You're the Panthers. You got running backs, dude. You just saw what they could do yesterday.
Apparently they do. When they finally listened to we the people who said, what did we say about running the ball?
I believe, if I may quote the great philosopher Richard Sherman, run the goddamn ball was what he said on national television. Run the goddamn ball! They did. And who was Rob Brown telling you guys needed to be on the game on third and short situations all season long and wasn't? Deontay, what did he do yesterday? No big deal. Went wild on you, brother. Loved it. It was great. That was fine. That was exactly what you needed to be doing. Christian McCaffrey gone. Foreman steps up. Hubbard steps up. Those guys perform. They run the ball. They open up the field for PJ Walker, who all of a sudden can go 50% for a couple of touchdowns. It's exactly what we were looking for. It's a good win. It's a good win. That's how about them Panthers. Bengals knock off the Falcons 35-17. So that you are aware, I was able to cancel my edible arrangement to Marcus Mariota before it got there. 8 of 13, 124, and 1 touchdown.
He probably didn't eat all that fruit anyway.
No, he really didn't. It's so acidic, upset the tummy before game day. They also did not have a rusher over 50 yards. Jameer Byrd, 1%. This was the Falcons team I was waiting to show up, right? This was the Falcons team I was waiting to show up. A Falcons team that doesn't trust Marcus Mariota to throw more than 13 times. A Falcons team that can't get a guy up over 3.1 yards per carry. This is the Falcons team I was waiting to show up, and they did. In fact, if it wasn't for Beard's 175-yard catch, it wouldn't have been that close. Joey B, 34-42, 481, 3 touchdowns, and all of the sudden, the Bengals have found the mojo. How about this, Lonzo? Jamar Chase, 8 grabs, $130, and he was not the Bengals' leading receiver. Because Tyler Boyd had 8 for 155. Chase 2 touches through the air, 1 for Boyd. They also had a Joe Mixon TD on the ground. The Bengals have found the next gear, kids. Look out for Cincinnati. Lions, Cowboys, 24-6. Dak comes back, 19 of 25, 207, and a touch. There was all the conversation. Do we go to Dak or do we let Cooper go until Cooper can't go? They went to Dak. Turned out to be a good decision. 113 rating. Jared Goff, 21 of 26, 2 picks. And how about, by the way, speaking of 4 turnovers, Detroit fumbled the ball 4 times in this game. Clemson beat the statistical odds by turning it over 4 times and winning the game. That's the exception, not the rule. You turn the ball over 4 times, you're losing pretty much every one of those games. I don't care who you are. Colts fall to the Titans 19-10, but Ryan Tannehill rolled up on the ankle. He did return with a heavily taped ankle. He finishes 13 of 20 for 132, no touches, no picks. Matt Ryan, not Ryan, 33 of 44, 243, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. And Matt Ryan leads the entire league in quarterback turnovers right now. He's got like 11 picks and 7 fumbles or something stupid like that. You think Matt Ryan wishes he was still in Atlanta right now? Even with the Deshaun stuff, like Atlanta made a play for Deshaun. It upset Matt Ryan. He wanted out. They sent him to Indy. You think he's like, I may have spoken early? In the what the bleep are we doing bowl, the Washington Commanders, led, of course, Lonzo, by the great Taylor Heineke.
Don't sell Heineke short. He started a lot more games than people realize. He's always that guy. Someone gets hurt, and then he ends up playing the rest of the season.
Taylor Heineke, 20 of 33, 201, 2 touches and a pick. Outduels Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 35, 194, 2 touchdowns, 38 rushing yards for the Pack, 166 for the Commanders. And we are Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. Knocks off Green Bay. First 3-game winning streak for the Pack under the floor.
Three-game losing streak.
I'm so not used to saying
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I get it. The other thing is, you always talk about quarterback duels. There's no quarterback duels. It's a quarterback against the defense. Obviously, the Packers defense, not that good. But Heineke, I'm not trying to build him up to great heights, but he's not like some guy who just came in and hadn't played in 3 years. He's played a ton in the last couple of years.
You know what he is? Adequate.
Right.
He's adequate.
Right. He comes in, he doesn't make mistakes. The other guy gets better, and he comes back in and takes his job again.
The Rob Brown Show word of the day, adequate. Spencer Rattler, adequate. Cade, adequate.
The show will never be adequate because we always go far beyond whatever adequate is.
Danny Dimes and his New York Giants are now 6-1, but boy, Did it get close? Did it get close? Christian Kirk made a run at a walk-off touchdown to wrap this thing up, and the Giants were able to knock him down in order to save that game. Heartbreaker for the Jags, who probably should have won that game. We wondered why it was the Jags were favored in this game, and you found out why. They were a play away from pulling off the win and the cover. They fall 27 of 13. Trevor Lawrence, 22 of 43, 310 through the air, no touches, but no picks either.
Wait. So the savior of the NFL still not winning with the Jacksonville.
No, just the savior of Jacksonville.
Is
That's
he?
the whole NFL, yeah.
Is he, though?
I was not unimpressed with his performance, dude. Like, he was whipping the football around. If he that pass that he threw on the final play of the game was as good of an NFL throw as you'll see.
By the way, I like Trevor Lawrence, but my point is he's still playing in Jacksonville. He's not going to win until he goes somewhere else. So he's going to have to deal with another, how long are rookie contracts?
You know the Jags have been to a Super Bowl, right? Mark Brunell.
Are you sure? I don't think so. I think you're wrong. I mean, I'm okay if you're right, but I don't think you're right.
Oh, no, never mind.
I was going to say,
They're one of 4 left. Didn't they get to an AFC championship? They got somewhere.
Yeah. I was going to, yeah.
Whatever. Who cares? I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, but that's something you definitely don't want to be wrong on. Yeah,
Travis
there's no
Etienne, let's ignore that, move on. Travis Etienne, 14 carries, $114 and a touchdown. Listen, Trevor impressed me. That pass he threw on the last play of the game to Christian Kirk was as good of an NFL pass as you're going to see.
You know, as far as losing games goes, wow, you were impressive. You still lost, but, you know.
Aren't you the guy who every time I bash a quarterback talks about it being a team
No,
game?
I'm continuing on something that we were doing last week. Jacksonville's Jacksonville, and they always will be. And the Panthers are not Jacksonville.
So TL16 on that last play of the game throws one of the best NFL passes I have seen. The Giants need a miracle play to get by, and they do. 23-17, your final in that one. Browns down to the Browns started the year hot and have blown everything since. They are 2-5. They lose to the Ravens 23-20. Brissett, 23 of 27, 258, no touches, no bad. By the way, it is not Jacoby Brissett that is costing the Browns games at this point. It's not. He could do more to help win, but it's not him costing these games. I don't know why it is. The Browns think that in 4 weeks when Deshaun Watson comes back, that they're suddenly going to be a great team. Not only is Jacoby not the reason you're losing games, but I need the Browns and Deshaun fans to know, every time that guy steps foot in an opposing stadium, it is going to be the loudest stadium in the NFL for the remainder of the year, right? Every time the Cleveland Browns take to the field and number 4 is the away starting quarterback, which, by the way, where is game number 1 for Deshaun December 4th, Lonzo? At Houston. That is going to be the loudest stadium in the National Football League that day, and I can't wait.
Will people show up for that game?
Yes,
you think, possibly.
Just to boo the boat out of Deshaun Watson. Watch. Then the next week, where are the Cleveland Browns? Cincinnati, Ohio. It will be the loudest stadium in the National Football League.
By the way, really quick, Marcus, the Panthers have been to the Super Bowl twice.
I'm assuming that's the same who just texted, what's the Panthers won that Jacksonville hasn't?
Yeah, they've been to the Super Bowl twice.
Right,
they lost, but they've been to the Super Bowl
they
twice.
won that the Jaguars haven't? Conference championships,
yeah,
right answer.
Yeah. And yeah.
Jets. Dude, the freaking Jets, ladies and gentlemen, beat the Denver Broncos. Of course, Brett Ripien had to start because Russ was not able to cook. Broncos country, let's ride our motorized scooter to the bench.
Yeah, let's ride the bench.
24, 46, 225, no touches, 1 pick. Zach Wilson, 16 of 26 for 121 and your mom's phone number. The Jets
probably
are
more than
5-2.
one mom's phone number. Probably like got about 10,
Please,
15.
your mom, my mom, and everybody else's mom would go on a date with Zach Wilson.
My mom's way out of his range. So yeah,
You don't know that.
that's
You don't know
true.
what Zach's
That's
into.
true. I don't
You don't know who he's willing to bump the hashtag Zach Wilson playlist for.
Okay. It's a killer playlist.
Little air supply, man. All right. Jets are 5. The Jets are 5-2. Texans fall to the Raiders. Don't need to spend a bunch of time on that one. The Texans are 1-4-1. The Raiders are 2-4.
Wait a minute. I thought the Raiders were supposed to be good.
Yeah, so did the Raiders.
Because they got a great receiver now. So everything's solved.
Corner unturned, Vegas.
Although that receiver is not playing, is he?
Seahawks over the Chargers was a bit of a shocker. 37, not just a win,
It's not a shocker.
Score win.
It's not a shocker.
That is a shocker.
It's just more proof that Russell Wilson was a system quarterback. That's all.
Gino, 20 of 27, 210, 2 touches and a pick. Justin, 33 of 51, 293 and a pick. What? I did not just scratch a topic talking about the game.
You did, but that's fine. Because Geno Smith is trendy. I
Fine,
can't
let's
help
talk
it.
about Gino. What a day.
Yeah.
210, 2 touches and a pick.
Obviously, the Pete Carroll system is effective.
Kenneth Walker III, a $168 on the ground and 2 touchdowns, and the fastest carry speed of an NFL player so far this season. My dude went 23 mph on a sprint. That is stupid fast. That is stupid fast.
Why do they keep track of that? I mean, it's cool, but why
It's
do
'cause it's
they
cool.
keep track? Okay.
Because it's cool. The majority of cool things that have been done by human beings, Lonzo, are done specifically because that's cool, right? Let's fly a big-ass telescope into space and take pictures of stars from the other side of the galaxy. Why? I don't know. Seems cool. Chiefs, 49ers, 44-23 your final. Zoe, in case anybody forgot, Patrick Mahomes is still good at football. 25 of 34, 423, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, a 132 rating. This Mahomes guy, he might have a future in this league, Zoe.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't throw an interception on, the last play of the game against Buffalo, he's fine. Nah, that's a bounce back game. That's what that is.
Juju, 7 grabs, a $124 and a touch. Valdez Scantling, as the Dash Gang got it together, 3 for a $111.
Wait, so the hyphenateds, which are the replacement for Tyreek Hill, actually had good games?
I mean, they went for like a lot of combined yards through the air.
Who saw that coming?
98 for Kels, by the way.
It was a down game for him.
Golly. Travis Kelce's a cheat code, dude. It's unfair. And then last night, Dolphins over the Steelers in a game that was closer than it needed to be. Tua Tagovailoa, 21 of 35, 261, and a touch in his return from the bell getting rung a couple of times. Kenny Pickett, 32 of 44, 257, 1 touch, 3 picks. A couple of them tipped up in the air. Kenny Pickett didn't have a bad game. Tua had a good enough game. It was the 111 on the ground that won it for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are back on top of 500. They are now 4-3. And as it stands, I still think the Dolphins are likely the surprise team in the league right now, right? Like we thought they'd be all right. They are, as of right now, a game back of the Bills. The Bills had the bye. They're a game back of Buffalo with a chance to get that one back later in the season. The Chiefs are a game up on the Chargers in the AFC West, 5-2 to 4-3. The AFC North, the Ravens and the Bengals are now square at 4-3. And in the South, the Titans have the lead. They're 4-2, 1 game up on the 3-3 Colts. Over in the NFC, the Eagles, an undefeated 6-0, sitting down this weekend. They are a half game up right now on the New York Football Giants at 6-1. The Cowboys are 5-2, and the NFC East looks good. In the West, the Seahawks are 4-3. The Rams will play again next week with a chance to get back to the top of that division. They are 3-3. The Niners are 3-4. The Cardinals 3-4 after their demo job on my pathetic Saints last Thursday night. In the NFC North, the Vikings hold the lead. They're 5-1. The Pack fall to sub 500. They were a Super Bowl favorite. They're now 3-4. The Bears are 2-4, and the Lions are Detroit. And courtesy of the win yesterday, the Lions now have the number 1 overall seed in the NFL pick and draft that the season ended today. The Bucks and the Falcons are square atop the NFC South, and both of them are sub 5. How about the entire division being below 500? I believe
someone's got to win that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's going to have it handed. No, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. The entire NFC South is below 500. The only division in the NFL that can say that. The Bucks and Falcons are 3-4. The Panthers and Saints are 2-5. How about the fact that this division is so bad that every team right now is within a game of each other,
Panthers,
and none of them at 500?
Panthers undefeated in the NFC South.
That is true. Panthers do have the edge over the Saints right now because they beat them straight up and are undefeated in the South. But the Bucks and Falcons have the better overall record. If the Panthers can get another dub at Atlanta this weekend, they would have the opportunity to claim a share. How the hell? What is happening in the NFC South? Let's take a break. Got a few more thoughts for you from the sports weekend. If you want them, grab them when we come back. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate.
You know, James, you'd be sulking too if the receivers wouldn't catch the ball when you threw them to you.
I am about to spend some of your money for you, Lonzo.
Oh, boy.
Feel free to check your Twitter DMs when you have a minute.
I ain't got no money.
You'll find some. Here, I'll even share it with you guys on the stream how I'm about to spend Lonzo's money for Lonzo.
Oh, those are cool.
You think I don't want an Ultimate Warrior igloo cooler? Come on, man.
I don't know what I would use it for, but, you know, did you see the thing that I sent you above that?
Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. You're telling me I can now drink beers out of a stone cold cooler? Yeah, I'm obviously doing that. Like, I'm obviously taking that everywhere. I'm putting 6-pack on one side, Zoe, and then 2 on the other, whose only purpose is to get smashed together at the end of a win.
Would you do that, though? Would you smash it?
Triumph win this Saturday, I will absolutely do it.
It's kind of a waste of money.
Triumph win the championship Saturday, I'm doing it with my shirt off in the stands.
All right. Said no one. I can't wait till after Saturday where I can shave this thing. I have to have it a little bit longer for, I think this is the longest it's ever been. Yes, my costume for Saturday requires something, but if I have to dress up Monday, I'm gonna have to keep it past Monday. Nah, I can't do that. I'm looking forward too much to be getting rid of it. Ooh. I'm excited. Fallout 4 is going to get a next-gen update. Fallout 4, one of the games I go to when I feel sick because I can just build stuff and shoot stuff. Can't wait to see what it looks like in next gen.
This is the best Trevor Lawrence take so far. It really is. That is exactly correct.
And but you know,
exactly correct.
Except for he has the opportunity to get out of there if he stays fairly healthy. He could go somewhere and
play out your rookie
and win
contract
and win. Yeah.
out. I don't frequently call for players to leave teams because it always happens to my team and it infuriates me. Trevor, I know you're watching.
Except for if you can leave.
Leave.
Jacksonville, yeah, you should.
Don't forget, you can watch the live stream anywhere you've got a screen and an internet connection. Go to Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate. Go to Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate or search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Also, go to YouTube and search The Fan Upstate because we have just launched our Fan Upstate YouTube page and we will be streaming to that sooner rather than later as well. So make sure you go to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube and go to The Fan Upstate on YouTube. Subscribe to both. Don't miss a moment of the action. James popped up on the YouTube channel a second ago and just dropped the truthiest truth bomb that has been bombed on this show in a while. He said Trevor Lawrence is having an Archie Manning-like career. That's so damn accurate. As a Saints fan, Archie is beloved. Why? Because Archie was a great quarterback on a terrible Saints team. I mean, atrocious Saints team back in the day. Let me tell you what I genuinely believe. And keep in mind, I never watched Archie play live, right? I'm a Saints fan since birth, but I never watched Archie Manning play live. Archie Manning retired from the National Football League the year before I was born, right? But for the 11 seasons that Archie played in New Orleans, he played on an embarrassingly bad Saints team. And to hear folks that were watching in the 70s into the early 80s, before Archie left, he did a year in Houston with the Oilers, and then he did a year in Minnesota. To hear it get told from folks who were watching football, I'm not talking Saints fans, I'm talking NFL guys, right? Like me and Lonzo. To hear it get told by NFL guys from that day and time, Archie Manning would have, had he been on a good team, would have had a Marino-esque career. Had Archie Manning been on a good team, Archie Manning would have had a Terry Bradshaw-esque career. Had he been on a good team, Archie Manning would have been up there with Staubach, with Tarkenton, with Stabler, with Greasy, with the great quarterbacks of the 70s. But Archie played on such an embarrassingly bad Saints team run by a completely and entirely inept front office that Archie basically took the Saints from being the worst team in the NFL to an entirely mediocre one. And that's a compliment, right? And I kind of feel that way with Trevor right now. I kind of feel that way and Travis, by the way. Travis crossed the century mark this weekend, right? So I don't know how much ESPN Sports Center you watched over the last two, let's say 24 hours. How much Travis Etienne love did you see for a guy that crossed a $111 on the run game?
I don't recall seeing any.
Correct. Those cats deserve better than Jacksonville, man. They deserve better than Jacksonville. That's Alonzo. I genuinely do not believe that any team is cursed, right? I don't believe it. I don't believe in curses. I don't believe in blessings. I believe that you get out of life what you create and the reality of the situation set up around you. Trevor is set up in Jacksonville on a team that has an owner that I am not convinced wants to be in Jacksonville, that I am convinced wants to be the owner that takes his team across the pond. Remember, Shad Khan's business connections are very heavy in London. London has been turning out for NFL games the last few they've had there. If Shad Khan has a team that is bad enough to not threaten the AFC, but good enough that they could promise to draw a crowd in another country, then Shad Khan, in my opinion, will be the owner that moves that team to London. There might be other teams that are interested, right? Arizona has been mentioned many times as a team that could relocate. But Jacksonville makes sense, right? Jacksonville's a bad football town. It's a bad town in general, but it's a bad football town. They've got a program that is good enough to not get made fun of weekly like Detroit, but bad enough that they're not a divisional threat. Good enough that they could go, hey, you send us to London, you turn us loose in London, and we can draw a crowd and get better for it. But not so good that you can't take them away from a city that is cranking out $110 in the stands every week. And you're kind of in that spot where the Jags are run by somebody who is uninvested in the team in any other way other than financially. The only move Shad Khan has made 3 moves in the past 5 years that I'm like, that's a good owner move. Drafting Trevor, drafting Travis, firing Urban. Those are the only 3. And by the way, he's firing Urban only because he made the garbage decision to hire Urban in the first place.
Did you see the Trevor Lawrence picture over the weekend?
No, what did he do?
There's a picture of him with 4 AEW women's wrestlers. And all I could think of is, how could a national football player, a league football player, be with wrestling when wrestling, no one watches that.
No. Real men don't wrestle.
It's with Britt Baker and Tony Storm.
MD, put some respect on the friend of the show.
I was trying to, for time restraints, I was trying to get it all in there.
Max Caster just tweeted, the Acclaimed versus Trevor Lawrence and Tim Tebow at Double or Nothing. Can't beat Tim. He's a winner. All right. I feel bad for Trevor, because not only did he get drafted to a team that's not bad enough to get better, but not good enough to win. He got drafted to a team with an owner who thought it was a good deal to hire Urban Meyer. Clearly has no eye for football.
But see, if you have to make those comparisons, or I think some people do, between him and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson went to a bad team too, but was able to start winning with that team. Is Trevor ever going to be able to turn it around in Jacksonville? I'm not so sure.
Again, you got to ask the question. Like, I think that the McNairs in Houston if nothing else, were committed to making more money and recognize that they at least need to try, right? They at least need to try. Now, the hiring of their new head coach was a joke. And aside from running away from 24+ lawsuits, I get why Deshaun wanted out of Houston. Yes, he was winning, but the team was not committed in a way that it was going to matter what he was committed to, right? I do not, and if you guys have ever heard me, feel free to correct me, but I don't think I have. I have never been the guy that goes, so-and-so needs to demand a trade out of blank. I've never been that guy. I'm a New Orleans sports fan. Do you understand? I've spent the last 2 years listening to the Stephen A. Smiths of the world tell me that New Orleans sucks and Zion needs to demand out. It's infuriating, so I don't do it, right? Except Trevor. Dude, honor your rookie contract and get out, because if you don't, you are going to end up being the starting quarterback for the London Big Bens. You're going to end up being a starter for the London Queen's Guard or King's Guard or whatever they name that team when they move it there. And it's going to be the same ownership. It's going to be the same front office. It's going to be the same administration, except now you have to not only suffer, but suffer in a foreign country and travel back and forth across the Atlantic 8 to 10 times a year. Don't do it, TL. Play your rookie contract, ask out, take Travis with you, and go be better somewhere else. Despite the Jags record, Trevor Lawrence has showed me he can make the throws. He can play the game. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you I had some doubts about Trevor's ability at the NFL level. That throw he made to Christian Kirk was as good of an NFL throw as you're going to see. But who's the Jacksonville Jaguars' best receiver right now? Christian Kirk. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to see. That's all you need to know. That's what that team is right now. They traded a metric buttload of picks to get, of money to get Christian Kirk to be his best weapon.
I'm offended by the buttload being metric buttload. Let's put that in American measurements.
Freedom units of buttload of money.
Yeah.
Spent so many freedom units of money to bring in a guy that when the Jags picked him up and gave him that contract, the rest of the league went, dude, you kind of just screwed up the wide receiver market for all of us, right? You kind of just screwed up the wide receiver market for all of us. Anyway, get out of there, TL. Play it out and get out before you have to move from. In fairness, though, I guess London would be a massive upgrade to Jacksonville, Florida, the armpit of society.
Would it be? I mean, I haven't been to London, so have you? I know you've been across the pond, but
I went to London when I was like 13. And I genuinely enjoyed it, but I was also 13.
Oh yeah, I will forever see the chicken dance in a different light.
No, that was Switzerland.
Yeah, but it was still across the pond.
Switzerland. Oh, Bridget. Black helicopters. Michael. Just 3 black helicopters flying.
I just want to say, I looked outside and I don't see any black helicopters.
They're over there. I'm still looking at them.
I don't see any black helicopters. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, that's Shad Khan sending the drones after me is what that is.
Don't acknowledge the helicopters, Rob.
Trevor, get out of Jacksonville while you still can. I'm begging you. Let's take a break. Let's come back. Let's wrap up this show. Texture says, Rob, Barkowski was a better Manning on even worse teams. You know what I'd like to do one day? I'd like to do a Zoom where we put together a list of the best quarterbacks who were doomed to crap teams. Archie's on that list. Bartkowski's on that list. And the list has got to be old, obviously, because in the new NFL, quarterbacks can move. But, like, who is the best quarterback doomed to a crap team? Archie Manning's my answer. Texas said, Rob, neat stat. Kelsey and Pitts both had 8 catches for 98 on National Tight End Day. Is there a National Tight End Day?
Yeah, they made a big deal about it. It was yesterday.
Don't Google that. It might go poorly for you. Or don't Google it at work, at least. That might go poorly.
If you do, just do it on your phone.
Texas said maybe the Panthers can finally rub 2 back-to-back winning seasons together. Well, they still got to win 3 more to get to 500. We got a ways to climb up, kids. Views from Main Street Podcast being recorded right after the show. Drop this afternoon. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Which, by the way, the earlier we record that, the better.
All right. I was seeing a black helicopter.
For there were 3 of them, and they were in a straight line.
That was amazing. Consistency.
I mean, at least you missed them all the same way. Probably from all the noise of those bottles hitting the ground. There it is. Fine.
Developed a monster headache throughout the show.
Ball Weekly Hit Presley has it. Despite trading Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson earlier in the week, this round overall, the Astros now host the Phillies on Friday. Our second straight loss. The Bucs fall to 3-4, but remain atop the NFC South. Dak Prescott returned from a fractured
Heineke.
7 yards and a score.
I should have did that. It hurt. What's painful?
Daniel Jones drew for a score and rushed for another. The Giants rallied to beat the Jags 23-17. They improved to 6.
Joey B.
Joe Burrow threw for 481 yards and 3 scores as the Bengals beat the Falcons 35-17. Patrick Mahomes threw for 420.
Throwing for 424 yards. That's not bad.
I have to apologize to everybody because I just realized I've worn the same hat 2 streams in a row. It's not good.
Yeah, because it's not a team hat, though, I think it's acceptable. If it's a team hat, that's different. You're showing too much allegiance to one team.
Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's. So thank you if you're one of them. If you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cup. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code KIND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code KIND. Enjoy.
Just go to harrys.com and enter code KIND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code KIND. Enjoy.
Small Rabbit fans assemble as the Memory Greenville takes over Cox Wellness Arena on Saturday, October 29th at 7 o'clock. As the Greenville Swamp Rabbits host Marvel Superheroes Night, presented by Global Clinic of Chiropractic. Tickets on sale at swamprabbits.com. Kansas City State Company, another American book, success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today Early distributors, all American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, the average site wouldn't change. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level. With a dramatic increase in competition and a softening market demand, they had two challenges: improve their brand presence and message and produce a positive return. AmericanEagle.com got to work and executing usability studies and detailed audits of site experience, digital assets, and marketing. The results: an integrated digital marketing and customer experience plan, organic traffic increase of 20%, and a long-term roadmap for success. If you love great steaks, go to KansasCitySteaks.com for website design, development, online solution recommendations, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. You can get results to the website called AmericanEagle.com. 877-WEB-NOW. Now,
Yeah, don't worry. I call
Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection still works if you break this next time. Continue on.
Wait, every time to air was the same day?
I win the lottery wherever I want.
Don't worry, I got Progressive. Their 24/7 protection still works even if my day does last forever.
Yeah, but don't you want it to end?
Are you kidding? I win the lottery whenever I want and never regret anything. It's the best.
That's a good point.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto.
Today, pleasantly sunshine with a high of 71.
Weather. Coverage from the Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Subject to policy terms, bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Today, pleasant with sunshine with a high of 71.
Weather brought to you by one thing makes it improve your gas mileage by properly inflating your tires and keeping your car in for a tune. Join Odyssey.
Think about what we were talking about during that last segment and get it ready for tomorrow's show. Who was the best quarterback that got doomed to a bad team? Archie Manning is top of that list for me. But who else do you want to add to it? Who was the best quarterback to play for a crap team? We'll run through that tomorrow. Like somebody suggested Dan Marino, right? I don't think I put Marino on that list. Marino played with a team that had a bad defense, but Marino had a really, really well-constructed offense. Dan Marino's team didn't fail because of the offense. They failed because the defense was terrible. Who is the best quarterback to play for a garbage team? I mentioned Dan Marino. Right on time. Texter says Geno Smith with the New York Jets. You know what? How about Geno playing well enough, Lonzo, that's actually a good argument? What if Geno's younger years were spent not with a garbage franchise in the New York Jets? How much different is Geno's career? Seattle was supposed to suck this year. And instead, Seattle finds themselves knocking off the Chargers this weekend, and Seattle finds themselves leading the NFC West, which was supposed to be a maybe two-horse race between the Rams and the Niners. Maybe. What is life like for Geno if he's not in New York? All right, so we'll put that list together and talk about it tomorrow. Best quarterback doomed to a crappy franchise.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topic.
Hashtag nailed it.
Don't think you're good at this.
Hashtag nailed it.
I mean, don't
Again.
Don't get that false sense of bravado, because twice does not a trend make. I call it luck. Time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending, and he will tell us why it is trending. The first thing is trending is Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumanium.
I'm excited. I like the comic book movies. I will tell you, I really hope that Wakanda Forever is as good as I think it's going to be. Right. And the thing is, it's going to be interesting because it's obviously going to be a very emotional movie. First movie back without Chadwick. We got a new Black Panther. But it's got a little bit of added pressure, I think, Zoe, because after Endgame, even though we've got a lot of Marvel projects since then, Wakanda Forever, I think, kind of kicks off the next gen of Marvel movies. And we've kind of hit a point where a lot of fans who got, maybe casual fans who got into the MCU, like Courtney, right? Like she was all about it when I introduced to the Marvel movies. But when the movie's 3 years old, it's not a spoiler anymore. When Tony Stark died, she kind of hit a disconnect, right? She's like, okay, all the people that made me love these movies are dead or retired now. I think I've probably hit my fill. Now, she did watch She-Hulk with me. She enjoyed it. She loved WandaVision. So she stuck around. But as far as the movies go, I think the next few kind of have their hands full in trying to keep the fans that have been fans for 15 years now in the fold. And on top of that, Quantumania is going to be really interesting because I think we're going to start devolving even further into the super comic booky side of the MCU. And if you're going to have somebody do it, Paul Rudd is the great choice to be that guy.
All right. So the trailer should be dropping at any moment. So,
well, let's end the show.
There you go. Well, we will in just a minute
Texas
or so.
said, is Black Adam any good?
Yes, go see it.
Okay.
Go see it for the JSA. The Rock was so because it's the first time he's doing a role where he's
all serious.
Yes.
I don't like it.
Yeah. But the rest of the JSA
Why would you make
is awesome.
a movie where you're like, hey, Rock, don't be charismatic?
No. He did that. Don't blame anybody else. This is the role he wanted.
Okay.
He has control over everything.
Why would The Rock look in the mirror and go, I should do a movie where I don't be charismatic? You know, the thing that made me famous.
Because possibly you get a chance to develop that character over a series of films and bring personality into it. Which,
only if people like the first one.
Which they did if the weekend is any. We'll see if he can do it 2 weeks in a row. All right. Shane Beamer is trending.
Shane Beamer just tweeted out a couple of minutes ago a tweet that said, me going through my phone, reading all the text messages from recruits after the game last night. We're just getting started at Gamecock football. Spurs up emoji with a gif of Drake going, let's go! And I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't at the game Saturday. That stadium was bumping, dude. If you were a recruit who picked that game to go to, a game the Gamecocks very well could have lost. They were 3-point dogs. Shano's crew put on a show for those recruits. That's how you get guys to want to be there. You win titles, you win games like that, you put on shows like that, you get better. Clemson, Carolina, man, Clemson's going to win that game. But Shane Beamer's boys are hype right now. An 8-win season has gone from improbable to definitely possible. They got 3 winnable games ahead of them. That's it for us. Jim Rowe takes you in the jungle next. Mark and Diesel with you at 3 to go offsides. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again and better on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. My throat hurts. Stream, you guys are fabulous human beings. We love you all, and we will see you back here